Gators will receive the kick to start this ball game. Eli Williams, a senior out of Milton, among those playing his last game in the Swamp, is on the near side, and Damon Bo Carroll to the high side. But the kicker, Sebastian Janikowski, is capable of kicking the ball into the stands on a fly. And I'm not kidding. It should only be about an 83-yard kick. He can kick it that far. We'll see if he does. In warm-ups, he kicked one off that went between the uprights. That's 75 yards. Not a good kick. It's a low driving kick. Bounces a couple of times. Fielded by Bo Carroll, who stumbles, looking for some running room. Doesn't find much. He's up to about the 17 or 18-yard line. David Warren, a freshman defensive end out of Tyler, Texas, one of the most highly recruited defensive players in the country a year ago, is the guy. Noah Brindise leads the Florida Gators to the field. His last game in the Swamp. He finishes his regular season career, and he's glad it's in front of friendly fans.
Oh, it's just, you know, what more can you say about the Swamp? It's the best place to play college football in the country, and you know, I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't going to probably have a tear or two in my eyes the last time that I get to run out of that tunnel.
Gators at the 17-yard line. Fred Taylor has been the guy, but they'll throw on first down. Brindise, trailing route, dragging across. Travis McGriff up to about the 24-yard line. Karante Cody, a freshman, Tay Cody, he goes by, makes the catch, but Florida picks up 7 on their first play of the ball game. Coming into the game, Noah Brindise closing in on 600 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Noah checks out, and Doug Johnson checks in. So after one play, the Florida Gators make a quarterback change. Johnson, the sophomore from Buchholz, he was the guy early in the year. Fred Taylor looking for running room, gets about a yard to the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a long 2 for the Florida Gators. The Gators on offense this afternoon against the nation's 3rd-ranked defense in total defense. Taylor and Frazier in the backcourt. Jamie Richardson, a guy who has caught 7 touchdown passes. Florida could use a big play out of him, along with tight end Taurus Ross. And up front, Ryan Kalick starts at left guard. Wiley Rich, the center, is back in the starting lineup, and Noah Brindise is back behind center on 3rd down. Florida State jumps. The nose guard, Jerry Johnson, put his hands on Wiley Rich. 3 flags are down, and I guess 2 out of 3 is all you need to get the call to go your way.
Prior to the snap, offside on the defense. 5 yards, first down.
So Terry McCauley gets us the call. It's offside on Florida State, and the Gators will have the ball at the 30-yard line. Jerry Johnson jumps. He's a sophomore from Fort Pierce Central. So the Gators, instead of hand signals, may be telling the quarterback to play and letting him run in to run the next snap. Out of the shotgun from the 30-yard line. Johnson back, throws it to the outside, and is juggling. Catch is made. Jaquez Green makes the catch in Florida State territory.
And just a tremendous acrobatic catch by Jaquez Green. And you see why early on as he goes up against Tay Cody. Cody was in good position, but Jaquez went up and just took the ball away. Great concentration as he goes through a juggling act. Now watch this concentration as the ball is falling. He keeps his eyes on it, comes down, makes a diving catch. Tremendous effort by Jaquez Green.
That is the 55th catch of the season for Quez, and it puts him up over 900 yards on the season. Brindise checks in, still in the shotgun with the nose of the ball inside Seminole territory. They go with the inside handoff. Taylor's got running room. Fred Taylor's got a first down out of bounds near the 37-yard line. Shevin Smith runs him out of bounds for Florida State. Let's check out that Seminoles defense up front. Julian Pittman and Johnson, Wadsworth and Spires at the defensive ends have combined for 26 quarterback sacks. Probably the best linebacking core in America. Sam Cowart, Darrell Bush, and Lamont Green. Cowart, one of the 3 finalists for the Butkus Award, and the secondary improved over last year. Tay Cody, a big reason why. Johnson now in the Florida lineup, the ball on the 37. Doug looking deep, throws deep. Jaquez Green a little too strong. He had gotten inside Samari Roll.
Well, he had a step on him, and Jaquez just led him a little too much. And ironically, with the different quarterbacking situation is we take another look at Jaquez on a post pattern. He turns Samori all the way around, and the ball is just slightly overthrown. But this is what the Gators have got to do. They've got to keep this defense off balance by continuing to mix it up.
Well, you can't keep them any more unbalanced than mixing up your quarterbacks on them. Florida will run it on second down. Nothing there. Taylor hit by Cowart in the hole. Falls forward to get back to the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up a foot. Sam Cowart out of Mandarin. It's amazing that a year ago he had major reconstructive knee surgery. Now he's one of the truly outstanding linebackers in college football.
Well, not only one of the truly outstanding linebackers in college football, but a tremendous leader for this Seminole defense as he's come back and he leads his team in tackles and once again steps up, able to fill the hole, holding Taylor to no gain.
Doug Johnson on the year, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Got those 20 TDs the first 5 games of the year when the Gator offense was playing pretty darn well. Throws the slant. Richardson goes down to make the catch at the 30, but that's short of a first down by 3 yards. And a 47-yard field goal, or do you go for it on 4th down? Gee, I wonder.
Well, looks like the head ball coach has made a decision, and as we see Jaquez Green go back on the field. This is just a good job by Jamie Richardson of making sure the catch as he goes down, makes the catch instead of trying to make a spectacular catch. He just makes the catch.
Well, Florida will call timeout to decide what play and which quarterback is going to run it. With 11:37 to go in the opening quarter, Florida and Florida State.
Receivers go in. This time the quarterbacks are bringing in the plays.
And let's see what the play is on 4th and 3. Quick pitch to the outside. Taylor, they go with a reverse. Quez is going to throw it. Doug Johnson's wide open. Johnson inside the 15 to the 12-yard line.
Another spectacular play call by Steve Spurrier as he comes with a little razzle-dazzle. And there's that man again, Jaquez Green, as he takes a reverse pitch, stops and throws it back to the quarterback for a first down.
In addition, it appears Florida State got a late hit on the tackle. And that personal foul will give Florida 1st and goal down around the 8-yard line.
Well, Larry, this is the way we grow up playing football. Just a little razzle-dazzle, throw it all over the field and have some fun. And I can tell you, these Gators are having fun. You know, this is, without a doubt, a playground play that works to perfection.
Well, I'm glad you grew up playing football like that. I grew up blocking for guys that were a lot faster. And I didn't block much because it wasn't any fun. The head coach has the ball moving. 1st and goal for Florida inside the 7-yard line. On the draw, it's Taylor. Taylor's got to the 5 and close to the 3-yard line. Darrell Bush and Sam Cowart make the stop along with Shevin Smith, but Florida gets about half what they need to get on the scoreboard.
Offensive line doing a super job of controlling that Seminole defensive line. Good block by Rod Frazier leading up into the hole. Excellent running by Taylor, just reading ahead of the would-be blockers.
Well, one thing you want to do when you're struggling offensively is have early success and build some confidence. The Gator offense is doing that on this drive. Can they cash it in? Straight ahead, Taylor to the goal line, touchdown!
With not hit until he reached the goal line, and just a tremendous job of blocking by that right side. Ryan Kelly, Cheston Blackshear, Mo Collins, and the tight end Terrence Ross are blowing that Seminole defensive line back into the end zone. And watch the lead block by Rod Frazier as he just does a super job of meeting the linebacker head on, allowing Taylor to bust into the end zone.
Frazier shaken up on that play, getting medical attention down around the 2-yard line. Checking out his ankle. Rod Frazier, a redshirt freshman out of Bradenton, Manatee. He redshirts the year the Gators win a national championship. The year before that, he was a high school senior when his brother Tommy Frazier led Nebraska over the Gators for a national title. So Rod Frazier with a big block there on Sam Cowart, the outstanding middle backer for Florida State.
Just a good job of lead blocking in there by Frazier, stymieing the linebacker Cowart, giving Taylor plenty of room to get into the end zone and turn his ankle in the process.
It really didn't seem like anything happened on the play, and it's not where he went down. He actually got up and then apparently went right back down. So the medical staff works on the injured leg of the Florida fullback, Rod Frazier. He's an important part of this offense, and not because he carries the ball, but Florida's a much better team when they run. When he's on the field, they run better. And Rod Frazier has become very important since the injury to Terry Jackson.
Well, anytime you've got a tailback that lines up 7.5 yards deep, the fullback has to be a tremendous blocker because the play takes so long to get into the hole, and you like to run a lot of isolation plays from that backfield, so your fullback is critical.
Well, the Gators came right out and drove it 83 yards to get in the end zone. Collins Cooper misses the extra point. We'll see if that's important as the game goes on. The Gators missed an extra point in the South Carolina game. For Collins Cooper, that is his 6th missed extra point this season, and that is costly. Timeout in the Swamp. 10:45 to play. Opening quarter, the Gators go the length of the field to take a 6-0 lead. The Gators go 83 yards, and on 4th and 3, a typical conservative play to get that first down. Right, Nat?
Very conservative. As you can see on this reverse, the reverse had no chance, but it was all set up to get the ball to Doug Johnson, and he does what all great runners do, go down and get punished as he goes out of bounds.
Well, that punishment, the forearm from Shevin Smith, was a penalty that helped Florida go on in for the touchdown. Despite the missed extra point, the Gators do enjoy a 6-0 advantage as Robbie Stevenson gets set to kick off. Robbie was trying to aim his kicks last week in Columbia, South Carolina. I think he's just going to drill this one. Yes, he did. Driving kick, 5, 6, 8 yards deep, and they will not bring it out. Jermaine Stringer, a sophomore from suburban Atlanta, is not coming out with that one, and Florida State will go on offense from the 20-yard line. The Gator defense, that's the unit being looked to today to have a big day. Mike Moten and Reggie McGrew, Willie Rogers and Willie Coens, but we'll see so many guys up front through the course of the day. Javon Kearse, he is so disruptive. Watch number 42, along with Rutledge and Thomas in the linebacking core. And back in the secondary, a big day for Fred Weary and Eli Williams as they match up with 2 of the best in the country, E.G. Green and Peter Warwick of Florida State. Thad Busby at the controls of the Seminole offense. They look to throw first down. He's got his man out in the flat. Not much there, fighting forward. Travis Minor gets maybe 6 yards. Nice job fighting through the tacklers to make 6 out of what looked like not very much. Thad Busby averaging over 300 yards per game and a great 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. In fact, Thad Busby has only lost 1 game in 2 years, that of course being the Sugar Bowl and the National Championship Showdown. He's got some great weapons to work with, including that tailback Minor who caught the first pass. On second down, running from trouble, he throws high, incomplete. Trying to get it to E.G. Green. Florida had pretty good coverage, and the ball was thrown high and incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 4. The rest of the offense, Khalid Abdullah, much like the Gator fullback, he's there to block primarily. Melvin Pearsall, a senior, has had an outstanding season at tight end with 27 catches. He is a big weapon, especially in situations like this, 3rd and 4. And up front, a pretty young offensive line. 2 seniors, 2 freshmen, and a sophomore. That group has gotten better all year long. Kevin Long, the guy in the middle, really the key. The best lineman, Trey Thomas, a very possible first-round draft pick. We've got a whistle and a timeout called in the Gator secondary. Florida confused on its coverage on 3rd and 4. And 5 minutes, 5 seconds into this ball game, Florida has already used 2 timeouts, 1 on offense and 1 on defense. So we'll take a breather. We'll see what Florida State does on 3rd and 4 when we return to the Swamp after these words. And 4, Florida State will run out of the shotgun. They put Minor in motion. Under pressure, Busby, quarterback draw, won't get there. Diving ankle tackle by Reggie McGrew. It's 4th down.
Well, Larry, that was a well-designed play by the Seminoles as they brought the tailback out, made the linebacker move, and then tried to come with a quarterback draw. But Reggie McGrew was able to get penetration and then react up, keeping vision on the quarterback, and come down with the tackle. Great defensive play by Reggie McGrew.
Jamie Richardson deep to return the punt. Jaquez Green is up on the line to try to get after it. Cottrell, the freshman, gets the kick off. Green did not come close. Good kick. Richardson fields at the 23-yard line. He's got 5. He's got 10, and that's all he's got. He's got company. Lavernius Coles in on the tackle for the Florida State coverage, along with Demetro Stevens, a junior linebacker out of Georgia. 49 yards on the kick, a 10-yard return, and Florida gets its second offensive opportunity with about 15 yards, 16 yards better field position than the last one. Well, the stats guys are going nuts with this quarterback situation. I promise you that. Well, trying to keep track of which quarterback threw which pass to where. Of course, Doug Johnson's already caught a pass, not only thrown one.
And we knew that without a doubt that Steve Spurrier would have come up with a plan that would make it interesting.
Johnson out of the shotgun. 3 receivers wide to the right. Doug sets up and fires to Quez Green. Diving, did he get it? Looks like he did at the 44. It'll be a Florida first down, pickup of 11 yards on the play. Samari Roll with the coverage for Florida State.
And what we're seeing so far from this Gator football team is guys standing up and making plays, as this is not a perfectly thrown ball, but Quezzy comes back, does a good job of getting his hands underneath the football, making sure of the catch.
Jacquez came in with 54 catches for 879. He has added to that already today with a couple of receptions for 31. On first down, and the whistles blow. Probably a false start on the offensive line. Should create a 1st and 15 situation. Now, one of the advantages Florida's getting out of their quarterback shuffle is a lot of times this year we've seen confusion over the hand signals and bad communication and such like that. That's no longer a factor when the head coach is whispering the play into the guy who's going to run it.
But even more so, he's telling him what's the purpose of the play, what he's looking for. And if I call this play, I want you to look down the middle, but if it's not there, I want you to come off to the back in the flat right away. So it's not a guessing point when you give the hand signals and he has to anticipate what the coach wants.
Well, if it keeps working this well, he may use it next year with Doug Johnson and Jesse Palmer and Tim Olmstead. Okay, Doug, you've got first down this week. 1st and 15 under pressure. Johnson throws in a hurry, incomplete. That's one of those incompletions that there's nothing wrong with. Under pressure, he didn't take the sack and he didn't force it. There is a flag on the play, apparently.
Well, this time he does the right thing. He doesn't throw the ball down the middle of the field. Cowers come totally free. He gets rid of the football and throws it outside, where if his guy can't catch it, no one can.
Well, Florida's called for offensive pass interference, and I've got to question that, because who could have caught that pass? Who could have been interfered with? It's a 15-yard penalty. That's the #1 penalty on an offense, is offensive pass interference. And I'm sure the head coach is saying, I see Quez fighting off, nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's just a bad call. You know, you've got the right to protect yourself. When the guy's gotten his hands up, you're just trying to get him off you. The reason they call it, though, it's right at the breaking point.
Florida State jumping around, and they'll call Florida for a false start. And the Gators will have a 1st and 35 coming up. A 5-yard false start, a 15-yard offensive pass interference, and a 5-yard false start is going to move the Gators back to the 20-yard line.
And this is not what you want to do. You get the ball in great field position, and you give back 25, 30 yards in penalties going the wrong way. And there you see the false start, as you see Jacquez Green getting ready to get off the line of scrimmage. And he's got to look in at the football. He can't anticipate the snap count. He's got to see the ball move.
Let's see, what are your play calling options with 1st and 35? You have 3 chances to get it. You got to get about 12 yards per play. Well, that won't be 12. Shoe top catch by Quez Green. That'll be a gain of a yard or 2. In fact, he dove forward, and since he gave up the forward progress, he gives up those 2 yards. So it'll be a gain of 1 to the 21.
But I still like what I'm seeing out of Doug Johnson. He's not throwing the ball down the middle of the field. He's not throwing it into traffic. He's throwing it outside, where if his guy cannot catch it, then it will go incomplete.
Florida substitutes Brandeis back into the lineup. Richardson and Quez Green to the bottom of your screen. Travis McGriff wide to the left, to the top of the screen on 2nd down and a long way. Fred Taylor has got 8 yards. Fred Taylor up to the 28-yard line. And that'll bring up a routine, basic 3rd and 27 type situation.
And And you can believe that Steve Spurrier has a play in his playbook that's set to go for 27 yards. Whether he will try it at this time or whether he will just continue to try and get field position as he did on the first two plays and kick it away and allow his defense to play good, solid defense, backing the Seminole team up.
Great day for Fred Taylor last week in Columbia, South Carolina. 133 of that in the second half. Gators with a third and very long. Johnson will throw deep down the sideline. Quez Green goes up, can't get it. Good coverage, but again thrown to the outside where the safety could not get there. So again, that improvement in Doug Johnson. And some people say, how can you improve throwing incomplete passes? But that's a good incompletion as well.
Well, you're giving yourself a chance to make the play. You're throwing it high and outside. You've got a leaper in Jaquez Green that can go up and take the ball away, and he throws it far enough outside that if Quezzy can't get it, the weak safety is not a factor.
Dexter Jackson, number 11, closing on the play, but could not get a shot at the football. Florida has to punt from its own 29-yard line. Now, Tyrone Baker in motion to try to get free of the early coverage. Low, wobbly kick, played on one hop, and down you go right there. One of the most dangerous punt returners in America, Peter Warwick, got to meet Tony George up close and personal.
And Warwick did a good job of feeling the football after the bounce. But Tony George was able to fight off a blocker and make the tackle before he could get turned upfield.
Big crowd here at the Swamp. The phone was ringing all week. Know anybody with a couple of extra tickets? Know how to annoy people with that? Say, oh, if you'd only called 5 minutes ago. That's my answer every time.
Well, I just told him to get in line.
I just sold 20 of them at face value. Sorry. Second opportunity for Florida State. Busby under pressure, runs away from Gurley, still on the run, and he'll throw it incomplete. That ball lands about 15 yards short of the nearest eligible receiver, but in line with one guy, which is close enough to avoid the intentional grounding.
Well, let's call it like it is. He got away with one at that particular time because there were 3 Gators around this football as he got tremendous pressure. As you can see, Johnny Rutledge in his face, but there was no Seminole receiver anywhere near the football.
The Gators were offside on the play. And so despite all that and avoiding the grounding, it ends up being a 5-yard pickup. 1st and 5 for Florida State at the 36-yard line. Bob Stoops' defense geared up to deal with some serious weapons. Thad Busby with over 3,000 yards. E.G. Green and Peter Warwick, who have combined to catch passes for over 1,800. And a great freshman tailback in Travis Minor. On 1st and 5. Busby flushed out of the pocket, will run with it. He's got the first down and more up to the 43. Tony George ends up on the tackle for the Gators.
And that's not bad for the Gators. If you can force this quarterback to run with the football and take some punishment, you know, it'll wear big in the second half or in the fourth quarter. And he's getting out of there not because it's a draw, because the Gators are coming at him as we see the umpire getting ran over. You see that he has to get out of there because Johnny Rutledge applies the pressure.
William Wampler Jr., that is the umpire. You think you want to be a football official, watch that play a few more times. E.G. Green makes the catch. Tico Brown puts a hat on him right away after a gain of just about a yard.
Well, here we see Tico Brown doing what good free safeties do. Read the quarterback eyes, react up, make a short tackle as he hits E.G. Green for a 2-yard gain.
Vernius Coles checks in for Florida State in a 3-wide receiver alignment. The Gators with 5 on the line of scrimmage, and they're all coming after Busby. He gets it to his running back. Minor makes one-man miss and then goes forward to about the 50-yard line before he's stopped by Eli Williams. He noses the ball into Florida territory where it'll be 3rd down and about 1.5 yards.
Well, Travis Minor is a very elusive little running back, and Mike Harris has a shot at him, and here you got to break down and make the short tackle. You can't go for the big hit because this guy's just too strong and elusive. Reminds you a lot of Warwick Dunn.
A bigger version of Warwick for sure. Travis Minor from the same school, Baton Rouge Catholic High School. Florida State needs to get just shy of the 47 on 3rd down. Busby from the pocket throws in and out of the hands of Melvin Pearsall. He was there and he was open, but he did not make the catch, and it's 4th down.
Well, Thad Busby had what he was looking for. He got Pearsall wide open, but Melvin Pearsall was not able to come down with the catch. As he was getting pressure, Thad Busby was able to step up and deliver the football to its big tight end, and that's a catchable ball. I think he took his eyes off it, Larry.
Tico Brown running into the picture at the end. You saw Mike Peterson put the little jam on Pearsall originally. He turned around and that ball was there. He didn't have a great deal of time to react. Florida State to punt. This is Keith Cottrell. He's a freshman. And the catch is made at the 19-yard line by Jaquez Green. So a 32-yard punt. Well, he pinned Florida inside the 20, but I think he was hoping for a little bit more than that.
Well, Florida, without a doubt, will take that any day. You know, you
on hand, fired up about this one as they always are. This stadium packed, no matter who the opponent, but a little more lively when it's this opponent. Taylor trying to get outside, hit from behind, fumbles. It's picked up by Sam Cowart. Touchdown, Florida State. Lamont Green came from the backside. Taylor thought he was blocked. He was not. Green knocked it loose, and Cowart runs it in, and that's that Florida State linebacking core going to work.
And that shows you what speed will do, Larry. Lamont Green comes all the way from the backside, and what happens here is Fred Taylor starts to hit it up inside the tackle. He bounces outside, and Green comes all the way from the backside, is able to script it out as he makes the tackle. Here's another look at it. He bounces outside, and Green comes from the backside, strips it out, and Cowart picks it up, runs it in for a touchdown.
Now Janikowski to tie the game, kicks the extra point. The difference between these teams at the moment, an extra point. Florida missed its kick. Florida State made its kick. 4 minutes, 32 seconds to play. First quarter in the Swamp at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Florida Field. The Seminoles have taken the lead on the Gators. Stay with us. Much more at Griffin Stadium, Florida Field. 4:32 to go. Opening quarter, Florida drives 83 yards for a touchdown. Florida State scores on a fumble recovery. The extra point gives the Seminoles a 1-point lead. It's the second touchdown of the season for that man, Sam Cowart, who ran a fumble in for a touchdown against Duke earlier in the season. And the Butkus Award finalist will return to the field as Florida goes on offense following the kickoff going through the end zone. Taurus Ross a little shaken up for the Gators on their kick return unit, even though the ball did not come out of the end zone. And so, but he will stay in the ball game. Started out, then says he's fine, is going to stay in there. Doug Johnson, as the Gators alternate quarterbacks on every play, using the quarterbacks rather than the signalmen to get the plays in. Although right now Noah Brindise on the sideline does not have his helmet on. Johnson back to throw under pressure, drops it off to Taylor. Fred gets one block. Holding will be called. This play is coming back. Fred Taylor picks up about 30 yards, but they're going to call holding on a Gator receiver, and that will undo the play. It looked like Eugene McCaslin out in front of the play was making the block for Florida. Tough break for the Gators.
Well, that's a very, very tough call, and you know what you always question with the officials, if they see the entire play, where the block started and how it finished up, instead of just seeing the end of it. And you know, we have not had a chance to look at it, but I would question the call. Starting out, it looked like McCaslin had a shot, had good position, and he's blocking on Cowart. And it doesn't look like any holding there. It looked like he just maintained his block and pushed him around the receiver, Fred Taylor.
That was a huge gain for Florida. Instead, back at the 12-yard line. Bo Carroll is in at tailback. Noah Brindise back at quarterback on first down. Penalties are really hurting the Gators. Carroll trying to find a quick seam, doesn't, and lost a yard. Greg Spires knifes in from his right defensive end spot to make the hit for the Florida State defense. Spires, a senior from Cape Coral Mariner High School. In fact, earlier this week, Noah Brindise told the story of how Spires gave him a concussion when they were both in high school.
Well, That might have happened in high school, but knowing the tough man that Noah Brandeis is, that will have no effect on him playing today against Greg Spires.
Brandeis back to the sideline. Doug Johnson is in on 2nd and long. Gator quarterback gets it to Taylor. Taylor fumbles again. Loose ball, and Florida State's got it at the 19-yard line. Fred Taylor, who has been the Gator offense for the past couple of weeks, has coughed it up twice inside the Gator 20.
And this is just Fred Taylor struggling, trying to pick up extra yardage, and sometimes that's what happened. You know, the second guy in, third guy in is the guy that always shakes it low, so the guy that's coming from behind, as we see Fred Taylor toss up the football. Again, good job of catching the football, turning upfield, and there comes the second guy in, Shevin Smith, that shakes it loose.
You saw McCaslin's left arm got pinned. He would have recovered it if he could have gotten his left arm out there. But he couldn't do it. Now the Gator defense tries to make a stand with the ball just inside the 20-yard line. Miner goes in motion. Busby fires on the slant, juggled incomplete. Lavernius Coles tried to make the catch, and Rod Grady, a redshirt freshman, he's a kid from the state of Georgia, a high school player in Cuthbert, Georgia. And he's out there getting playing time in the Florida secondary. He's going to be a good one. He's a big kid for the defensive backfield, about 6'1 and a half, 200-pounder. But seems to have good instincts for the game.
Real good instincts, has a good break on the football once it's in the air.
So it's 2nd down and 10. Crowd very loud here in the swamp. Busby fires. He's got his man on a little drag route, and down he goes. E.G. Green collared by Reggie McGrew. Very late flag from the back judge. I have no idea what that might be. But the Florida State players are applauding. This is after the play was over, and he was 25 yards from it, and 3 officials closer called nothing. That's a face mask called against the Gators. And the penalties are adding up.
Well, this is just unbelievable. Well, there's no face mask at all. That's a horrendous call by the back judge.
And Nat, it's inexcusable. He's 25 yards from the play, and 3 guys are closer.
Well, I would not like to say that these are ACC officials, but for the team that has led the ACC in penalties versus them, it's sure going the other way. And this is just an excellent play and tackle by Reggie McGrew as he sees the runner coming by him. He just reaches out and snatches him down. Never touched the face mask.
So instead of 3rd down and about 6, it's 2nd down and about 2. Miner is buried. It'll be 3rd down and a little over a yard. Keith Kelsey in on the tackle defensively for the Florida Gators. The penalties adding up early for the Florida Gators in this contest. They've been flagged a half dozen times already for 43 yards in the opening quarter.
Which is quite amazing because, you know, some of these penalties the Gators are very guilty of, but some of them are real shaky calls. When you go back and you look at the big call on Fred Taylor's run, is the difference in Florida State getting the ball down here versus the Gators having a shot at taking it in and scoring.
That was the holding call on the play, and now Florida State will call timeout. 2:02 left. The play clock was winding down, and the Seminoles could not decide on a play. So the Gator defense faces its most important play of this opening quarter. 3rd down and 2 at the 11-yard line when we return to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Turnover. As 3rd down, the Florida defense digs in. FSU must get just shy of the 9-yard line. Buzzy on the slant, throws as the catch. He dropped it. It's either fumbled or incomplete. It's an incomplete pass. Damian Harrell had the ball, and he was racked up by the Florida secondary. The ball came out. Hopefully that leg is not hurt, but he reached for his right knee and is still on the ground. The ball is ruled an incomplete pass. Let's take another look.
Just a very simple slant route. He gets inside position on the corner. Ball's thrown right there, but he gets his leg bent back. As you see, 3 Gators, Eli, Keith Kelsey, Tico Brown, all coming in to shake the ball loose, and you see him grab his knee. And let's hope it's not something serious.
Boy, it buckled inward. Even before the hit came, really, it was just as he was about to get hit. He planted his right foot, and his knee buckled inward. And that's a place you don't want it to buckle. So hopefully, just a sprain or something. Damian Harrell for Florida State, the wide receiver, is a senior. He's out of Miami, went to San Francisco Community College before transferring to Florida State.
Look like the young man's going to be able to get up with a little help.
Billy Donovan's Gator basketball team will host Coastal Carolina on Saturday, November 29th at 4 o'clock in the O'Connell Center. For tickets, call 352-375-GO-UF. Remember, UF students, you get in free all season long with a Gator One card. That's Gator basketball next Saturday. That's also a game you'll get to see right here on Sunshine Network. Bill Koss and Mark Wise will join me for the call on that one. So if you can't be in the O-Dome, we hope you'll be in front of the set. Florida State will go for the field goal from 29 yards out for Sebastian Janikowski. It's certainly going to be long enough, and it is good. So the Seminoles score a touchdown on a fumble and turn the other fumble into a field goal. Good job by the Gator defense to make Florida State settle for 3 after the Seminoles got the ball at the Florida 19-yard line. We'll take a short time out. We'll be right back. Good old days when you could yank your helmet off and enjoy a moment. Now they penalize you about 45 yards or so. You do that.
You just stole someone's son because you took your helmet off. I mean, it's the most ridiculous penalty in college football.
Janikowski will kick off. He's just a freshman. Oh, my goodness. Let's see how far this one goes. It hit a cameraman 2 yards beyond the 3-yard zone, beyond the end line. That thing went 81 yards in the air.
Well, just remember this, Larry. For many, many years, the Seminoles lost to the Hurricanes because of a kicker, and since then, Bobby Bowden said he will always have him a great kicker.
Let's go down to the field to Steve. Steve, what's up?
A key defensive injury for Florida, Mike Harris.
Gainesville, Buchholz High School. Florida on first down, and they got that little delay. Damon Carroll's got all kinds of room. Bo Carroll to the 45 and out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Big pickup for 26 yards for Bo Carroll.
Gators just did an excellent job of sneaking Bo Carroll out of the backfield on a little crossing route. Linebacker gets caught up, Darrell Bush, and then you've got the sprinter going down the sideline. Finally brought down by Dexter Jackson, number 11.
Bo Carroll, good receiver. That is his 7th catch, but he averages almost 20 yards per reception. Brandeis checks in. Carroll on the draw play. Nowhere to go, and he lost 1.5 yards. Darrell Bush victimized on the pass. Gets even on the running play. Darrell Bush, a good football player. Lake Brantley High School in Altamont Springs. Probably would have been a Butkus finalist or one of the final 3 if not for his teammate Sam Cowart.
Right there, you see a good job of Bush shooting the gap, but you know that's part of the problem when you've got those 3 great linebackers with Green, Bush, and Cowart. And it's hard to get the notoriety.
Second down and long. Under pressure, Johnson hit as he throws. It goes right into the ground. Good rush up the inside. That was Jerry Johnson, a sophomore from Fort Pierce Central High School, putting on the pressure.
Came right up the middle between Wiley Rich and Ryan Kalick, and he's able to beat the double team and is able to hit Doug Johnson just as he releases the football as he tried to go out into the flat with Jaquez Green out there.
Boy, you got to slow him down better than that when you got 2 hats on.
Well, the key is he just split them, and once you split them, you end up using their force against each other to make the play.
Third down, the Gators have to get inside the 44, and they won't get across the 45. They needed 12, and they got maybe 1 yard. Cowart in on the play, along with Corey Simon, Samari Roll, and a host of Florida State Seminoles. So after the big play on the pass to Bo Carroll, the Gators cannot advance the ball and have to punt.
Well, this is just the Gators playing for field position. You know, they're hoping that they're able to pop it with Bo Carroll, but if not, they'll line up and punt the ball away because their defense has played tremendous football. If you look at the 10 points that the Seminoles have, it's come because of turnovers on the offensive side.
Corey Simon may have re-injured his shoulder on that play. He has had shoulder problems throughout his career, dating back to high school. Florida State with 10 on the line, but not a big rush. A low line drive from Stevenson hits at the, it goes out of bounds short of the 15. And they will mark him right at the 21, 22-yard line. The side judge spotted it. The referee, what they do is they walk the side judge up the sideline. The referee gives them the angle. They pick the spot. And when they pick the spot, he ran up 4 more yards. So then he's waving them back.
Well, that's the official saying, wait a minute, you're going a little too far. You know, we got to do this thing right. Back up a little bit.
Maybe we should give these guys the beach ball. There's Stevenson waiting for the punt.
Good job of handling a little tough snap by Robbie Stevenson, and then he's trying to angle it out down on the sideline and was able to get it out inside the 20.
4 seconds to go. This should be the final snap of the first quarter. They fake the draw. Busby hit as he throws, completes it. There's Peter Warwick still on his feet. He is tough to tackle, and he gets across the 35, close to the 37-yard line. It'll be an 18-yard gain, a Florida State first down for Peter Warwick on the final play of the opening quarter of the annual Florida State game on Sunshine Network. The Gators grabbed an early 6-0 lead. FSU on a fumble return for a touchdown and a field goal leads it 10-6. But Florida missed the extra point. Then the Gators turned it over. A fumble by Taylor, picked up and returned for a touchdown by Sam Cowart. The extra point made it 7-6, and another Florida turnover made it a 10-6 ball game when Janikowski kicked the field goal. Florida State ball at the 37-yard line. First down as we begin the second quarter. In the flat, nobody near Travis Minor, but he does a little hesitation, and instead of getting about 6 on it, he tried to make a bigger play and ends up getting about 2. Maybe 3.
Well, he's a big play performer, and you know, when you catch the ball out there on first down, you're looking for the home run. You know, if it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, then you go put your head down and go for it, Larry. But with his ability, I guarantee you, every time he gets the ball in the flat, he's looking for a big play.
First half stats dominated by the Florida Gators. Total offense advantage 80 yards for the Gators, but penalties and turnovers the reason Florida State has the lead. On the draw play, big hole, Minor across midfield to the Florida 48, and there's a couple of cheap shots late, and Mike Peterson made a big mistake and retaliated, and that may make it go both ways. We'll see. The first sign is only against Florida State. Pete got one in the chops and retaliated, and might get away with the retaliation after the officials talk it over. We'll see.
Well, fortunately enough, the officials seen the first hit. Usually they only see the second, Larry.
Play. Personal foul on the offense. Unnecessary roughness. 15 yards from the end of the run. They didn't make the first down. 1st and 10.
Here's another look at it. Let's see who comes in with the cheap shot on Mike Peterson. If you look at the lower left.
Now keep it going. It's after that. That's not it.
Let's take another look at it, see if we can see it here from the end zone shot. You know, Mike Peterson will come into your picture, and then after the fact, you'll see Melvin Pearsall deliver an illegal blow to the headgear of Mike Peterson.
So because it was dead ball right after the play, it's 1st and 10, but back at the 36-yard line, it's as if that big run did not take place. And they get it back anyway, as Travis Minor gets about a dozen. Fred Weary makes the tackle. Florida State first down. And Tony George slow getting up.
What we're starting to see is they've shown pass so often that now they're running the football. They've got the Gators in a pass rush mode, and Travis Minor is coming right up the middle. Just a good job of tackling by Fred Weary and Tony George as Tony gets a little banged up, but a good job of open field tackling by Fred Weary while fighting off a blocker.
Tony George out of Cincinnati, Ohio. 2 interceptions this season in the Gators secondary. Who will ever forget the big one against Peyton Manning early in the season in the Tennessee win? Bob Stoops' defense facing quite a challenge. Florida State, one of those combination teams. They've got all the running skill you could want with Minor and Ford and Feaster, although not a lot of experience. And of course with receivers like Green and Warwick and Stringer and Lavernius Coles and Damian Harrell. Boy, I tell you one thing, they can move the football against you, and they can do it in a hurry. Be sure to tune in to Sunshine Network this Sunday at 1 o'clock. It's the SEC Women's Volleyball Championship game live from Athens, Georgia. The conference title is on the line. Florida has won the tournament title 5 years in a row. See if they can make it number 6 at 1 o'clock live right here on Sunshine Network. Tony George leaves the field of play, so Florida has Grady in at the strong safety spot because Mike Harris is also injured. They fake the pitch. Busby under pressure gets it to Pearsall, and he's upended by Tico Brown after a pickup of about 8 yards.
Little drag route where they bring Pearsall across the field, and this FSU football team likes to go to the tight end, as you'll see Pearsall number 81, big tight end coming into your picture, but a good solid open field tackle by Tico Brown, holding him to only an 8-yard gain.
Melvin Pearsall's 28th reception of the season. Big tight end. He actually was on his high school basketball team at Lake Wales when they were in the state Final Four. When he wanted a rebound, he got it. Under pressure, Busby runs away from trouble, and then he's dropped. Buck Gurley was closing along with Keith Kelsey, and Busby ends up getting close to first down yardage. He'll be short by about half a yard. Florida's had pretty good pressure on Busby. He has not had many chances to sit back there and look over his options.
Yeah, but this was a quarterback draw all the way. They run the tailback out of the backfield, hoping to pull the linebacker Javon Curse, and they try and run it right where that linebacker leaves from. But the defensive line is doing a good job of getting penetration and then reacting to the quarterback, and was able to bring him down short of the first down.
Gators look for the run on 3rd and very short. Busby sneaks it, and he gets it all the way down to the 40. So he got about 2 yards on the quarterback sneak. Might have a little bit of a headache. He met hat on hat with a Gator defender, but it's first down Florida State at the Florida 40-yard line. This is the best drive the Seminoles have put together this afternoon.
And the difference is, as we go back and take a look at the quarterback sneak and look at the leg drive by this Seminole offensive line, as they're able to push that Gator defense back for 2 yards. But the difference has been they've mixed it up a little bit better, Larry. They're running the football, and they've gotten Travis Minor back into the offense.
Minor goes in motion. Busby in the middle, hit and dropped immediately. They get it to E.G. Green, but Keith Kelsey racks up Green after a 2-yard gain, and E.G.'s going to go back to the huddle and say, yo, I'm a wide receiver. Don't throw it in front of that linebacker now.
Well, you know what's the tough part about that as a wide receiver, being an ex-wide receiver, is you're running a 2-yard route. There's no way to get behind the linebacker, and he's sitting back there looking at the quarterback, and he sees you out of the corner of his eye, licking his chops, and he goes ribs.
So when you're out there and they call that play, that's a good time to false start, isn't it?
No, I just tripped down. I make the quarterback eat it.
Second down, Florida State. The Gators blitz. Busby gets rid of it, has a man complete. That's Peter Warwick at the 26-yard line. First down, Florida State. Peter Warwick, a sophomore from Bradenton Southeast High School.
And the Gators are getting very close to get there, but you know the problem is that they're allowing these receivers to get inside position when they've got no help. Fred Worry on that particular play cannot give him the inside because you break down the defense. All they need is that extra step, and they've got the sack. You've got to make the quarterback hold the ball a split second longer, Larry.
You see those numbers on Warwick, 17.4 a catch. That's a nice number. First down at the 27 officially. Minor gets away from one tackler, not the other. Javon Curse had him first, but then it's the freshman Rod Grady who comes in to finish him off for a loss of a yard.
And that goes to show you just how important it is that you stay alive and you keep working to get around the football, because Javon Curse has Travis Minor in the backfield, but he's not able to bring him down, as this is a very strong young man. But Rod Grady, coming to the football, is able to come up with the tackle.
Minor listed at 6'1", 190. Almost as big as the strong safety that tackled him. Second down for the Noles. Gators trail by 4. They're on the inside handoff, and he is hammered. Elijah Williams crashed in from the corner to put the first hit on him, and the Gators finished off Minor for no gain.
Well, they tried to run this play back into the boundary, and You know, the Gators did a good job of squeezing it down, allowing Javon Curse. You've got a corner blitz on, and he does a good job of coming in. I tell you, if I'm the offensive coordinator, I say to the big tackle, big number 68, Jason Whitaker, what are you thinking about? You just ran by the little corner making the tackle.
And he missed the linebacker in front of him. He split the uprights. He wants to be a kicker. 3rd down and long for Florida State. Busby with time. He's got a wide open receiver inside the 10. That's a 1st down. Marvin Minnis makes the catch. It's 1st and goal for Florida State as they connect with the freshman from Miami Northwestern High School.
Well, these receivers just do a good job of running post and slant routes where they get body position on the corners. And this time, once again, he's running wide open through the middle of the field, and you just cannot allow that to happen unless you've got help. If you don't have help, you've got to force him outside, try to stay between him and the quarterback.
Tony George was back in the ball game. That's apparently a good sign for the Gators. Tony had left earlier, shaken up. 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Florida State leading by 4. 8:53 to play in the half. Busby to the end zone, wide open, touchdown, Melvin Pearsall.
Well, you get what you're looking for out of this play. You got your tight end isolated 1-on-1 on the middle linebacker. You go down, you push him inside, and then break out, and the ball's there. Great job of catching the football by Melvin Pearsall, because Thad Busby is getting hit just as he releases this football, and he throws it early. Keith Kelsey, no chance to react.
Thad Busby 7 for 7 in that drive as Florida State picks up its 1st offensive touchdown of the ball game and moves up 11 points ahead of the Florida Gators here at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Thad Busby trying to complete a 2nd consecutive perfect regular season for FSU.
Follow me here. Follow me there. Tell me what I need to know. Call Bob. Let my voice be heard. Make my life simple. Sprint, that's my phone company. On the run, always changing. New challenges, more choices. Keeping the pace by keeping in touch. Moving ahead for the simpler things in life. Sprint, that's my phone company.
They're nutty, goofy, zany, and just plain silly. From the creator of the award-winning television series Wild America comes a hilarious home video unlike anything you've ever seen. These are nature's Fantastic Follies. Fantastic Follies is a non-stop comical romp through the world of animals. It is not available in stores. Call now to get Fantastic Follies for just $19.95. Order now and you'll also receive Backyard Wildlife absolutely free. That's right, both of these extraordinary programs are yours for just $19.95. Call now.
For rush delivery, get your credit card ready and call 1-800-652-2112. That's 1-800-652-2112, or send your check or money order to the address on your screen. Call now.
Hi, I'm Chris Doran. You're watching Breakfast with the Gators on Sunshine Network.
On the headset, Thad Busby, the senior quarterback for Florida State out of Pace High School in the Florida Panhandle. Became their starter last year and led FSU to an 11-0 season until the Gators got him in the Sugar Bowl.
And we see here he gets a lot of pressure. He gets rid of the football just as he's being hit by Willie Cohen. But looked like the Gators were in a zone defense because Mike Peterson went to the outside and Keith Kelsey squared up as if he had help out there. There you see he knows that he was able to dodge a bullet, got it off just in time, and Melvin Pearsall made a good adjustment on the football as he got the hit around in a hurry.
The Gators are getting good pressure on Busby, but they're just not getting there before he can get rid of the ball.
Well, it's all thrown on timing, and what you have to do to help that defensive line and those blitzers is you got to get closer to the wide receivers and force the quarterback to hold the ball a little longer, Larry.
kick was 6 yards deep in the end zone. Bo Carroll does not bring it out. And Florida will start at the 20-yard line, trailing 17-6. Steve Babick on the field.
Thanks, Larry. I'm with James Jones. You talk about all the specialty players on both sides of the ball, the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, but the line play always dictates how the flow of the game. James, line play so far in this game.
Well, the flow has been going pretty well for Gators. They have been keeping their Florida State defensive lineman out, giving the quarterbacks time to throw, and the same thing for Thad Busby. They've been giving him time, and he's been picking the Gators apart, but we're going to have to get some pressure on him some kind of way by defensive line.
Let's go back up to Larry.
Brindise double clutched and then threw it over the head of Taylor to go incomplete as Florida tried to get it to their running back out in the right flat, and Florida State had defenders all around it. And Brindise will leave and Doug Johnson will come in. Florida started this and has continued through the ball game, alternating quarterbacks. Florida with 124 yards of total offense, and Johnson has been the more effective passer of the two. 7 out of 10 for 78 for the sophomore. On the draw, Taylor's got very little running room. Stutter steps, a hole develops, and he gets about 3 or 4 yards out of it. Another good sign for the Gators, Rod Frazier back in the lineup.
Well, that's good to have Rod Frazier back in there because you need to be able to run the football to keep this defense off balance. You know, the thing that I'd like to see, if you look at Fred Taylor here, it's a draw, but you like to see him hit the hole going full speed. You know, he's dancing around, and the way this team reacts and runs with the football, it's going to be hard to snap a big one when you're dancing back there in the backfield.
Corey Simon back in for Florida State. So other than Damian Harrell, all the players that have left the game have come back. Always like to see that. Brindise from the pocket throws high. Nice catch, Jaquez Green. Quez to the 45-yard line. First down, Gators.
Well, Larry, I have no idea what Jaquez Green's vertical leap is, but he just does a tremendous job. You know, usually when you see a guy go up for the football the way Jaquez does, you know, that's coaching, that's teaching, and that's what they teach defensive back. But watch this receiver go up at the highest point, picks it off, just as Dexter Jackson thought he had an interception, and then he's off to the races.
So Green with the catch for Florida. Jaquez a busy first half already. Brindise fakes the draw. He gets back-to-back plays, and he's throwing deep all alone. Travis McGriff. McGriff to the 10. Travis McGriff to the 5-yard line. First and goal.
Beautiful play action by the Gators as they fake the entire defensive football team of the Seminoles out. Even the cameraman was fooled on that one as Fred Taylor and Noel Brindise did a super job of play action, and then he did what most intelligent quarterbacks do. He didn't try and hit him perfect. He hung the ball up, gave Travis McGriff a chance to run underneath it and make sure of the catch as the Gators come up with a big play as Travis McGriff is running through the secondary by himself, Larry.
Well, that ball held up a long time, allowed Florida State to react. Shevin Smith and Samari Roll end up on the tackle. 3 wide receivers to the left on first and goal. Doug Johnson's got a man. Touchdown! Same guy, Travis McGriff.
Just tremendous execution, and you gotta love it. Travis McGriff makes the big catch on the play action pass, and then you come right back 1st and 10, and you give him a shot to catch one in the end zone as he catches it going into the end zone with no one around him as Doug Johnson puts the ball on the money.
The Gators will go for 2 to try to make it a 3-point ball game.
That was too easy, Larry.
Yes,
I mean,
Travis
somebody must have got lost.
Not in the scouting report anywhere. That's 2 plays in a row where Travis McGriff was kind of like me at a high school dance.
But I tell you what, when they go over on the sideline, they're going to figure out who Travis McGriff is.
They'll add him to the list. Okay, number 3, he's pretty good too. Cover him while you're at it. 17-12. Brindise in to try the 2-point conversion. He throws into 3 men surrounding Jamie Richardson. Quez Green broke behind that group, but Brindise didn't see him, and it's no good. 17-12 is our score. The Florida Gators answer the FSU drive with one of their own.
A lot of industry experts told us that the passenger side was the best place to add a 3rd door. We got still more advice insisting that the driver's side was the only logical choice. But as you can see, we let it all go right in one ear and out the other. Introducing the new Dodge Ram Quad Cab. The rules have changed.
Winning the national championship was very important to all Gators, but I know there are more important things in life, like the work being done by the healthcare team here at Shands.
University of Florida physicians and the healthcare professionals at Shands offer comprehensive care in virtually every aspect of pediatric medicine, which is why doctors from all over Florida send their most complex cases to Shands.
Shands, where teamwork really makes the difference.
I think my wife will like this.
I'm sorry, sir, but we're closing.
Yeah, but I just wanted to know
Why shop around someone else's schedule? With complete 24-hour service, Geico lets you buy car insurance anytime. Buy directly over the phone and you could save 15% or more. Geico Direct, a better way to buy car insurance.
Does this come in beige?
Sunshine Network brings you Florida football highlights with Steve Spurrier every Sunday at 12 noon. Tune in as Coach Spurrier and Mick Hubert review the week's game and look ahead to the Gators' upcoming opponent. Of course, this Sunday will be the final edition of the regular season. Florida football with Steve Spurrier coming up at noon on Sunshine Network. Back at the 17-yard line, Busby goes to work again. They go with the inside handoff. Minor gets to the outside. The Gators want a holding flag from the same official who called it on Eugene McCaslin, but don't get the flag, and it's an about a 14-yard gain and a first down for Travis Minor.
Well, this is just a little counteraction just by the tailback as he gets the block coming from the other side. Big offensive tackle comes out the back door and is finally brought down by Tico Brown. Well-designed play there.
Yeah, and it didn't look like holding, but neither did the other one. And that was Florida's point, I'm sure. Thaddeus Bullard checks into the Gator lineup at defensive left end. Chester and Gurley are the tackles. They fake it to Minor. Busby keeps it, and he's caught by Bullard before he can get out of the backfield, and he goes forward for maybe half a yard. Thad Busby not bashful about running with the ball. Coming into today's game, he had carried it forward and gained 119 yards over the course of the season. By comparison, Florida quarterbacks Brandeis Johnson combined had carried the ball for 29 yards in games.
Well, you know, a lot of times you're forced to do that, but when you get defenses that react so well, quarterback has to be that extra weapon, similar to Charlie Ward. And, of course, the Seminoles have that in their arsenal with Thad Busby.
They go with the inside handoff again. Lots of running room. Minor across the 40 to the 45-yard line. That inside handoff out of the shotgun is causing Florida some problems. Eli Williams makes the tackle, but Travis Minor has gone over 50 yards in the first half.
And what's happening here, Larry, is the defensive line from the shotgun, they're in a pass rush mode, and it's just hard to bring this young man down with one arm because he's going to run through those arm tackles. He's got such strong legs, and it's got the Gators back on their heels. Here's another look at it. Good blocking downfield. As you can see, Willie Rogers missing the tackle. Rod Grady, it's just no way you're going to bring this guy down with one arm.
Busby, right in the belly. Dwayne Thomas, the senior linebacker, turned around and the ball went right into his midsection and he didn't catch it.
And that's a cardinal sin by a receiver, a defensive player, no matter who. You do not let the ball play you, and he tries to body catch it, and it just goes right down between his arms. Dwayne Thomas got exactly where he was supposed to go as the ball was intended for Peter Warwick. Got a good drop, located the football, had a chance to make a big play, take the ball away, wasn't able to come down with it.
Gators have fumbled it twice. Florida State has not turned it over in this first half with 5:22 to play. On second down, corner blitz. They find an open man. That's the big tight end Pearsall, and he's racked up by Grady and Rutledge after a pickup of about 4 or 5 yards. Melvin Pearsall's third catch in this ball game, 17 yards, but one very important touchdown.
Well, this is just a very sophisticated offense because they see the blitz coming all the way. Tight end just runs a quick diagonal as an adjustment. Thad Busby gets him the football in a hurry.
Now the crowd comes to its feet in the swamp, exhorting the Gator defense on third down. Busby wants time. So you talk about the 12th man. You might give the 12th man credit for that timeout, as they had a bunch of noise going for the Gator defense. Florida State will huddle up and talk about it. It's a 5-point game with 4:38 to play in the half.
Are you wasting money on spoiled food? Then you need EuroSealer, the amazing new sealer that creates an airtight seal that locks in freshness so food lasts longer. Simply slide EuroSealer along the edge of any bag and it's sealed airtight. It's that easy. Every time you open it, food tastes like it just came fresh from the store. Look, EuroSealer creates a seal so airtight even water won't leak. Amazing! EuroSealer keeps cereal crunchy, chips crisp, vegetables fresh, and deli meat delicious. 1 week later, Twist Tie salad is brown and slimy, but EuroSealed salad is green and fresh. Now on this exclusive TV offer, you can get EuroSealer for only $19.95. Call now and get EuroCan free. EuroCan leaves edges incredibly smooth. You can even reapply the lid. That's a $40 value, all for only $19.95.
To order the EuroSealer and receive the EuroCan absolutely free, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-652-2112. Don't delay, seal the deal and order today. Call now.
Hi, I'm Eric Kresser, and you're watching Breakfast with the Gators on Sunshine Network.
A big play here at the stadium, the Swamp. It is third down for Florida State at the 49-yard line. They have to get inside the Florida 45. 17-12 our score. Busby with time, flushed out of the pocket. Looking, he throws, incomplete. Diving effort by Peter Warwick, but he can't get there. Mike Peterson among those chasing Busby, and the Seminoles will have to punt with 4.5 minutes to play in the half.
And Mike Peterson was the difference in this being a completed pass and possibly a touchdown, because Peter Warwick came open as Thad Busby bought time scrambling out to his right. But Mike Peterson, being in Thad Busby's face, kept him from being able to get any mustard on the throw, and is just slightly underthrown.
Quez Green back at the 10-yard line for Florida. The Gators with 10 men up at the line of scrimmage. No pressure, however. Wobbly kick. Quez comes up, fields it at the 20. Tries to give up ground for some running room, and he gets a little. Quez to the 25. Quez to the 30. Looks for the corner. Down the sideline, he goes out of bounds. Run out of bounds by Khalid Abdullah, the Florida State fullback. And if Abdullah doesn't get that angle, look out, Quezzy.
Well, I'll tell you, I have seen this man in the past several years do what we call Houdiniacs, as Quezzy is able to catch the football. Now watch his footwork. He goes backwards, and now I don't think I'm going to go that way. Now he just goes straight up the middle, and he realized, I got to get to the outside. And here's where he starts to use his speed. And if it was not for Abdullah, Quezzy is off to the races. He's able to get just a hand on him to push him out of bounds.
31-yard punt, 28-yard return. Florida from the 48-yard line. Plenty of time for the Gators here in the second quarter. They run up the middle. Taylor. Fred gets about 3 before he's stopped by Corey Simon. Mixed first half for Fred Taylor. He's had some pretty good running room, considering he's facing the top rush defense in America. But he's also fumbled the ball twice.
And both times it was, he got it knocked out from behind the first time. Second time it was the second guy in, as he was struggling for extra yardage. And, you know, sometimes you figure that you'd like to see him just go down, but, you know, you wouldn't be the back that you are if you weren't Fred Taylor and you went for it all the time.
Simon jumped at the line of scrimmage, hit Wiley Rich. The ball came loose. Brandeis dove on it, but I believe Florida State will pick up their third flag of the day. Gators have been penalized 6 times.
Offside on the defense. Violation of the neutral zone. Still second down.
As we go back and take a look at it, it's another hard count by Noel Brandeis. And, you know, that's something we don't see with Doug Johnson a lot, but that shows you the senior leadership with Noel Brandeis, where he's able to pick up the cheap 5 yards by picking his spots when to go with the hard count.
And it was number 96, Larry Smith, who jumped. So now Florida has a 2nd down and 1. A lot of opportunities with this play. Johnson looking down the field will throw it to the outside and wide. Incomplete. Jamie Richardson jockeying with Tay Cody. But that ball was not going to be caught by anybody under maybe 8'2".
Well, without a doubt, he overshot his intended receiver there, Larry. But, you know, as a receiver, Jamie Richardson's got to do something to this defensive back to freeze him. You cannot turn it into a foot race. As you see, Cody holding on, not allowing Jamie Richardson to get a step on him.
3rd down for Florida. And they need a little more than a yard. Hafiz Kareem comes in motion. The give is to Taylor, straight ahead, 1st down at the 40-yard line. Running behind Zach Pillar on that left tackle spot, as well as Ryan Kalick. Florida 1st down with 3:11 to play in the half.
And this is the Fred Taylor that we're used to seeing, just a straight ahead dive off tackle, and he just lowers his shoulder and runs over Chevin Smith, falling forward for the 1st down.
So Johnson checks back in. Gators have really mixed up the offense very effectively in this 1st half. Trying to get a score. Touchdown here could put them back on top. Johnson throws for Quez Green. Juggling. Catch made at the 24-yard line. And Chevin Smith got away with swatting the ball out of Quez Green's hand. The official went up and talked to him, and I like that. Just, look, if you do it again, I'm going to flag you for it instead of making everything a hanky festival.
Well, Chevin Smith is just a frustrated young man because once again, Jaquez Green goes up against Tay Cody and just takes the ball away as he makes this acrobatic catch. Once again, showing the concentration as he keeps his eyes on the football and holds it up, sort of like a trophy, you know. And Chevin Smith said, we're not going to have that.
And everybody watching would have swatted the ball out of his hands, too. Taylor up the middle. Fred picks up about 7 yards on 1st down. Fred Taylor came into this game needing 87 yards against this vaunted FSU rush defense for 3,000 in his Gator career, and he's almost halfway there as we get close to halftime. Johnson back in the ball game. Gators with 3 wide receivers, 10 on the play clock. Taylor picks up the blitz. Johnson looks, fires, trampling over Hafiz Kareem, Chevin Smith, and that'll be pass interference and a 1st down for the Gators.
Oh, that was one that we got away. He had Hafiz Kareem coming across, and without a doubt, Chevin Smith ran up his back as Doug Johnson tried to get it to him. But this is the kind of play that in the past has got Doug in trouble trying to force it into a covered receiver.
They'll go back to the line of scrimmage, which was about the 17, and should be 1st and goal at about the 8-yard line. Actually, no, it's not half the distance.
Pass interference on the defense. Penalized at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Even though in college it's a 15-yard penalty, if it's inside the 30-yard line, they give you the full length of the penalty. If it's less than 15 yards, so it's 1st and goal at the 4. 1:50 to play. And the Gators trying to take the lead. Brandeis back at quarterback. Fred Taylor, big hole, touchdown!
Good job by that offensive line. Once you give them a chance, they get down here around this goal line. It's like the spreading of the Red Sea as the offensive line just blew that Seminole defensive line out of there. Fred Taylor cut back behind the center. Easy touchdown run. Here's another look at it. Watch him come back to the right side. Good blocking by Wiley Rich, and even Cheston Blackshear, the right guard, was able to cut off. Good job of Mo Collins on the backside, not allowing penetration so that Fred Taylor could get in the hole.
Well, the Gators missed their first extra point. Then they went for 2 and didn't get it. And now they'll call timeout. They've got the wrong personnel on the field for the play called. Steve Spurrier all the way down inside the 20-yard line. to signal to Doug Johnson to call timeout. So we'll check out the two-point conversion. The Florida Gators have taken the lead in the Swamp.
It's magic time in the NBA.
Gators have taken the lead on this run.
Just great individual blocking up front as Fred Taylor goes into the end zone untouched.
What a great job Cheston Blackshear did. It looked like Johnson got inside position, and he just put his nose on his hip and rode him all the way out of the play.
And that's what you teach your offensive linemen. You know, just give your back a chance to read your head. If he's going to the right, take him to the right. A good back will be able to cut back behind you. And that's why Mo Collins' block was so important on the backside, getting the cutoff.
Doug Johnsdice has done a fine job for the Florida Gators today. The two-headed quarterback.
Well, you can say what you want about the two-headed quarterback, but I know back in 1982, the Miami Dolphins went to the Super Bowl with a two-headed quarterback, and we used to call it the Wood Strock.
That's right, David
Woodley and Don Strock.
Yeah, Strockley didn't sound very good. So Woodstock worked better.
Woodstock worked a little bit better. You know, Woodley started, Strock came in, won the ball game.
Florida, after the timeout, still confused. Doug Johnson confused, signaling back to the bench. 13 on the play clock. They're out of timeouts. Guess you could take a delay of game and just play it from 8 yards away if you don't get the snap. 5 seconds, though. Johnson seems settled. Looks to his left, under pressure, steps away from pressure. Now he just throws in the end zone and hopes. Quez can't quite get up that high. It was close. He found the one place where he had a chance and just a little bit too much on it.
Well, he really wanted to go to the left side where he had 3 receivers, but they were all covered. He did a good job of scrambling around and then threw it up for grabs. And, you know, whenever in doubt, look for Quezzy. And that's exactly what he does. He just throws it up as high as he can. And he came very close to getting a hand on it. As you see, Quezzy goes up with one hand in the back of the end zone. Just a little disappointed by the head ball coach, you say?
Now, Steve Spurrier, what has made the Florida program so strong in the 90s. 1 of 3 with 9 wins every year. Florida State, Nebraska, the others. 1 of 3 with more than 80 wins in the 90s. Yep, Florida State, Nebraska are the others. And that is, he expects to score on every play.
And if you look at who's been playing for national championships the last couple of years, Florida State, Florida, and Nebraska.
In fact, if Florida State were to win today and Nebraska win the Big 12, Florida State and Nebraska would play, which would mean Florida State, and Nebraska would be the only teams to play in the 3 national championship games created by the Bowl Alliance. The Gators, however, have other plans. Boy, what a heck of a ball game. In 18-17, is that a historic score in Gator history or what?
Well, I'll tell you what, the fans are getting all that they could hope for, both the Gators and the Seminoles, as we've got a barn burner here this afternoon.
There's a kickoff. It's going to be taken 3 yards deep and not returned by Jermaine Stringer. He thought about it, but when the guy most responsible for protecting you sent him out, that's plenty of time with their receivers. Almost intercepted. Javon Curse got a big paw on it, but couldn't bring it in.
Well, they just tried to run a little check over to Travis Minor, and Javon Curse was right there in the vicinity, got his hands up, and was not able to come down. This could have been a big break for the Gators. You know, the Gators have had 2 opportunities to come up and make plays to take the ball away, and both times they've come up short.
On 2nd down, the crowd roars here in the Swamp. They'll go with the inside handoff. Minor breaks it to the outside. He's got 5. He's got 10, 12 yards, still in bounds. They'll stop the clock on the 1st down. It's a 13-yard pickup for Travis Minor, who is closing in on 70 first-half yards running the football against this Gator defense.
Well, Larry, the more we look at this young man, the more and more he resembles Warwick Dunn, as he just jukes and moves, and just continually picking up yardage going north and south.
Gator defense gives up 64 yards a game on the ground. Travis Minor has 67 today. Busby, lots of time, throws it deep for Peter Warwick, and it's batted away. Fred Weary climbed the ladder and swatted it just as it was about to fall into Warwick's hand.
That was just what you call perfect timing by Fred Worry as he timed his leap and was able to get up and swat it away because Tico Brown was not able to get over and give him any help there. This time Tico got held by Thad Busby in the middle too long. So he's not in the picture, but watch this effort by Fred Taylor as he goes up, swats it away with his right hand, just as Peter Warwick thought he was going to come down with the catch.
Fred Weary, one of 3 finalists for the Thorpe Award for the best DB in college football. Busby hit as he throws it, sails right into the arms of Tico Brown. Tico to the 40, inside the 35-yard line, first down, Gators.
And that comes from Ed Chester hitting Thad Busby so that he's not able to step up and throw the football, so it sailed. And Tico, here's what happens when you get that pressure. Even though he's able to get rid of the football, you force the errant pass as he tried to go to E.G. Green. And Tico comes down with it and brings it back, giving the Gators good field position in Seminole territory.
Florida leading by 1, 1:06, no timeouts remaining, but only 34 yards to go. Johnson wants a lot of them right away, and it's incomplete, overthrown. Good coverage by Tay Cody. There was no way to get that ball to Jaquez Green, who might have twisted a knee or an ankle when he landed.
And if that's the case, and Jaquez is not able to line up, that would be a very, very large loss for this Gator football team.
Florida medical staff checks Green. It's his right ankle that apparently he came down on a little bit. Florida spreads the Florida State defense. Now Johnson stays in, goes under center. Taylor, not much running room, got about a yard. It'll be 3rd and 9 from the 33. And the Gators continue to signal. Doug Johnson, who has thrown the ball extremely well today. The mistakes have been where nobody could catch him. The good throws have been right on target. Johnson stays in on 3rd and 9. Clock running with 35 seconds to play in the first half. And he fires incomplete. No Gator receiver was open. Florida State had everybody covered. And now the Gators will probably go for it. It's a 50-yard field goal, and that's too much.
Well, I don't know if you really want to go for it at this point.
There goes Collins Cooper.
Collins Cooper's coming on, and you know the thing here that's most important is you got to get it up. You know, Florida State is known for blocking kicks, and if he doesn't get it up, you run the possibility of a block kick and being able to pick it up and run it back for a touchdown. So
I don't know if Florida State will come hard with the rush and give Florida that opportunity. It would be interesting. Collins Cooper on the year 6 for 9 field goals. He had that 50-yard extra point against South Carolina that landed just short by about 4 yards. Let's see what happens. He gets it up in the air in plenty of time, but it's going to fall just a little bit short. Again, just beyond the range of Collins Cooper. And Florida State will get the ball at the 33-yard line with 27 seconds and no timeouts. Well, I tell you, the crowd here at halftime at the Swamp definitely needs the break, as the players do. What a great first half of football between Florida and Florida State. The Seminoles number 1 in one poll, 2 in the other. The Gators with the number 10 ranking in both major polls, but looking to move up and maybe, possibly, sneak into the Bowl Alliance if there's some upsets out west.
They're fighting for a chance to play in a major bowl as well as the recruiting war.
Stevenson with a line drive kick. Lavernius Colts fields it 4 yards deep and will not try to return it. And so Florida State will go on offense at the 20-yard line. The crowd files back in. Florida Field, one of the places where they let the fans leave at halftime. So they have cooled down.
Cooled down or watered up. I can't say liquored up, but whatever the pleasure.
They're back.
They're back.
From the 20-yard line, Thad Busby. Less than 5 yards per attempt in the first half. You got to love that. He averages almost 9 yards per attempt over the course of the season. Under pressure screen, nicely set up. Travis Minor racing through the secondary. He's got 15, he's got 20 yards, and he's run out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. A big play for Florida State on their first snap of the second half. Dwayne Thomas ends up making the tackle.
Good job by the offensive line as they do what they're supposed to do. Allow the Gator defenders to rush the quarterback and then get out in front. And then Travis Minor, just an excellent runner with the football in his hands.
Busby rolling right, looking, throws the middle of the field and kind of threw off his right foot while he was gliding right, throwing back against his body and didn't get anywhere near enough on it.
Well, that's just a mistake on Thad Busby's fault. I mean, in part because, he's rolling right, but he's expecting the pressure. He feels pressure when there is none, where he had time to square his shoulders and throw the football to a very open E.G. Green down the center of the football field.
From the 41-yard line, the Gators on the bench exhorting the crowd, and the crowd responds here in the Swamp. Warwick in motion. They give to Minor. Minor reads his block beautifully, cuts inside, fumbled the ball. But it looked like Florida State had an offensive lineman dive on it at the 48. Ross Brannon, big offensive tackle for the Florida State Seminoles. Javon Kearse made the play, but Brannon was able to land on it and save Florida State from disaster. He's just a freshman out of Marietta Lassiter High School.
Well, the Seminoles have avoided disaster quite a bit today as Javon Kearse comes in, knocks it loose, and Brannon is able to get on it before a Gator defender. Another golden opportunity that the Gators were not able to come up with.
Gators have forced one turnover. They've dropped a couple of possible ones. Busby flushed out of the pocket as a wide open receiver. Inside the 35 and down to the 30 is E.G. Green. So the Seminoles pick up 22 yards on third down, and they're in Florida territory. E.G. Green in high school when he was a junior played for a state championship and was the favorite receiver of a guy named Werfel out at Fort Walton Beach.
Well, I know and I've heard about what he did with Danny Werfel, but you can see that he's a seasoned veteran. As Thad Busby has to scramble, he moves with him, gives him a target to throw to.
Of course, I should already apologize to Danny. Danny doesn't have favorite receivers. He just has guys who get the ball more than others. From the 30, inside handoff. Minor, no running room, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Elijah Williams, Javon Kearse make the play defensively. Florida Gators regular season ends with the Florida State game. That's not happened in a long time. The last 5 years, the Gators went on to the SEC championship game, but that will not happen this year as both Georgia and Tennessee won on Saturday.
But the Gators still have a golden opportunity with a victory here today to move up in the polls and hopefully get a better bowl bid.
Inside handoff, then a little misdirection as Minor tried to take it back to the left, but the Gators jammed it up. Reggie McGrew makes the tackle, gained almost 5 on the play. It's third down.
And Minor, to his credit, does a good job of moving and reading on the move. This play is designed to go back outside. He sees he can't get there, reads the hole inside, breaks off the head of the guard, picks up 5 yards. The average back would have to waste a couple steps to try and get back in the hole. Minor does not.
Just a freshman. Boy, is he going to be good. Already established as a good receiver as well as runner. Busby fires, complete. E.G. Green at the 12-yard line, first down, Florida State. Dwayne Thomas ends up making the tackle in the secondary along with Tico Brown, but that's the second big third down completion for Busby on this drive.
And Dwayne Thomas is in perfect position as E.G. Green comes wide open, but what happens is running Travis Minor on a flare route takes Thomas out of the center of the field, and Busby is able to hit Green for a big gain.
Florida State first down at the 12-yard line. Travis Minor inside the 10, got to the 9. Pickup of 3. Ed Chester, Mike Harris, Willie Cohen's all over there defensively for the Gators. Ed Chester's been bothered by all kinds of ailments all season long, but healthier now than he's been, I think, at any time this year.
And it's good to see Big Ed Chester get in and get on that play because, he was the marquee guy coming into the season playing that tackle position, but with the injuries to his knees, he has not had the banner year that was expected.
Florida State Little late leaving the huddle, only 7 on the play clock. Busby lines his guys up. Just does get it off with 1 second to spare. Fires, it's batted down, and a flag thrown by the side judge right on the line of scrimmage. Let's see if somebody was offside. Nope. Motion on Florida State. Do you want him to have 3rd down and 7 or 2nd and 12?
Good pressure up the front. There you see Javon Curse, 6'5", getting that long arm span up in the air, being able to swat it down.
Javon, a sophomore. We've seen his development this year as he's become more and more of a big play guy for this Gator defense. The Gators declined the penalty, so it is 3rd down from the 9-yard line. They need to take it down to the 2 for a 1st down. 3 wide receivers. Busby throws out in the flat. The Gator defense is there, and Minor's going down at about the 14-yard line. Mike Peterson, Tony George leading the assault for the Gator defense, and Florida State will settle for a field goal attempt.
Well, I'll tell you, Javon Curse had it by the ankles, holding on for dear life as all of the Gator defenders start to come in to try and put this guy down, but he refuses to go down. As you'll see at the end, he's still squirming and trying to pick up the extra yardage. As you see, Javon Curse comes in, hits him with the bow, finally getting him on the ground.
Janikowski has 1 field goal today. He's 14 of 19. This is high and through. So Sebastian Janikowski, the kicking game for Florida State, helping out as they drive a long way from their own 20 down inside the 10-yard line of Florida Field. Terrific matchup between the Gators and Seminoles. This is more points than I thought we'd see scored all day long. Nat, these offenses have really executed tremendously well against quality defenses.
Well, and you got to give both offensive coordinators a lot of credit because they came in here, they mixed things up, they've been able to keep these defenses off balance where you're not able to sit in there versus the pass or the run.
Mark Richt, the offensive coordinator for Florida State, and of course Steve Spurrier, the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the Florida Gators. Janikowski kicks it off through the end zone again. And Florida will start at the 20-yard line. That's quite a weapon. When you've got a guy who's going to get about 60% touchbacks, you're getting a lot of them to call it hidden yardage time after time out of your kicking game.
Well, what you do is you end up forcing your opponent to go 80 yards every time they've got the football.
Quickly, let's go down to the field to Steve.
Thanks, Larry. Jaquez Green back in the offense. A slightly sprained ankle. Tico Brown came out.
For the Gator offense, Fred Taylor on the swing pass gets 11, maybe 12 and a 1st down. Darrell Bush runs him out of bounds.
And that's a matchup that the Gators will take all day. Fred Taylor coming out of the backfield with Darrell Bush trying to cover him one-on-one. Darrell Bush puts a good move on him, gets some separation, and then he catches the ball, turns upfield for a 1st down.
Now, Florida State leads the nation with 64 quarterback sacks. The Gators have to be pretty high up there with 47, clearly tops in the SEC. Neither has sacked the quarterback today. There you see the numbers for Brandeis and Johnson combined, 189 against this Florida State defense. Taylor, 1 step away from big yardage, still stretches it out for a gain of 7 or 8 yards. Chevin Smith held onto the shoelaces with all he had to end up making the tackle.
And did you see how quick Fred Taylor hit the hole that time? Just a straight-ahead dive play off the left tackle behind Zach Pillars and Ryan Kalick, and he hits it in a hurry. And if Chevin Smith doesn't grab him by the ankles and hold on for dear life, he's off to the races.
Noah Brandeis returns. Fred Taylor 33 yards away from 3,000 in his career. This is his last chance to add to those numbers. Bowl games don't count. Brandeis under pressure, throws it up there, and Horace Ross tried to plant and come back for it. His left leg gave out, and Chevin Smith almost got there in time to pick it off.
And those are the kind of mistakes that the quarterback cannot make. He cannot throw this ball up for grabs with nothing on it. You've got to take the sack. You've got good field position. You're moving the football. Line up and go to the next play.
And there's Greg Spires from Cape Coral Mariner, greeting his old friend from Fort Myers Cypress Lake High School.
And if you notice, his hands were up around the headgear, and normally that's called.
Florida State jumping around, don't see a flag. There's running room for Taylor. Taylor in the open field. Fred Taylor racing to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Excellent job of running by Fred Taylor. He was able to hit the right side, and as soon as he saw the block, he cut back behind the blocking downfield and was off to the races. Had a great block downfield. Beautiful run by Fred Taylor.
The longest run of his Gator career for the senior from Glade Central High School, as Fred Taylor takes it 61 yards against the nation's #1 rushing defense.
Watch the tremendous blocking as you see him break a tackle, and then out front, you think that's Travis McGriff. Ron Frazier leading him into the hole, and then turning on the speed, and for a big man, Fred Taylor can motor. I'll tell you, Larry, all the folks back on the muck there in Belglade, the Belglade area really jumping around right now with that big run by the homeboy, Fred Taylor.
And somewhere in Tampa or wherever, there's a guy named Riedel Anthony celebrating that run just as much. His high school teammate, his Gator teammate, Fred Taylor, over 3,000 yards in his Gator career. But most importantly, he has put
people up on the line of scrimmage in what you call a run blitz. And the risk is, if you don't make the play, there's no one there in the secondary, as we see Fred Taylor go 61 yards for a touchdown.
Fred Taylor over 100 yards against this Florida State run defense. I went out with her in high school. But we really don't need to relive those moments. Fred Taylor in the last 2 weeks is closing in on 300 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Well, when given the opportunity, he has done a heck of a job for this Gator football team. He's been the man in the second half, and he starts out early here by breaking a long one.
A low, short line drive to Jermaine Stringer, who picks his way through traffic up to about the 26-yard line. Taurus Ross, who has been Florida's #1 tackler on special teams this year, makes another tackle on kick coverage, and again the crowd to its feet as the Gator defense returns to the field. Florida State drove a long ways, but had to settle for a field goal. But look what the Gator running attack has done today. Almost triple what Florida State normally allows, and FSU has run better on the Gators than they're used to letting happen. This has been an offensive coach's delight to move the ball this well against such quality opposition. Inside handoff, Minor hit behind the line. Ed Chester having his best game of the '97 season.
And this is called the offense have just struck a blow. Now it's time for the defense to come up with some big plays. And you see Ed Chester beats his man at the line of scrimmage, gets penetration into the backfield. And when they try and run this little off-tackle play, Ed Chester's there, a big, strong man. He's able to pull Minor down. Or was that Davey Ford, I think it was.
There you see Ed, a junior at a Spring Hill Springstead High School, just outside of Tampa. Loss of 3 on that play. Busby to throw out in the left side. He's got a man, but not much there. Marvin Minnis made the catch, and Eli Williams wrapped him up for maybe a 3-yard gain.
Gators set back in his zone defense, running a little tackle end game. Ball's thrown out to Menace, but Eli's right there reacting up, seeing the release of the football out of the quarterback hands and reacting.
Crowd to its feet in the swamp. The Gators look for a 3-and-out against Florida State's offense. Busby with 3 wide receivers. He's got time, he fires, he's got an open man, that's E.G. Green. And E.G. Green is all the way down to the Florida 38-yard line.
Looked like a little corner route to E.G. Green with Thad Busby, had plenty of time to throw the football. But he comes open between Fred Wary and Tico Brown on a corner route. picking up large yardage.
Well, that's a big play for Florida State. 36-yard gain. Busby with time deflected and still caught. Peter Warwick showing the power of concentration. Got the ball that was tipped by Mike Moten. Still caught it and turned it into about a 7 or 8 yard gain.
That's just great concentration. And then reacting, showing good alertness as he goes back, catches the ball in his hands. And that bullet comes back. Comes up with the tackle.
That was a fumble, but it bounced right back into Warwick's arms. Bullard tried to strip it and did get it loose, but Warwick got it back. On 2nd and 2, they'll run. Travis Minor, nothing there. Good play by Mike Harris. And that'll be a loss of a couple back to the 32, maybe 33-yard line.
And the defensive line that time forced Travis Minor to commit early. Usually he lets the defense commit, but everybody stayed in their lane, forced him outside, and Mike Harris comes in, makes a short tackle for a loss.
Another 3rd down. Busby has been terrific on 3rd down of late. Converting 2 on the previous drive, although he couldn't get the 3rd conversion. And they settled for a field goal. He hit the big 3rd down pass to E.G. Green just moments ago. They fake the inside handoff, go with the reverse. One man's there. And the tackle will be made at about the 23-yard line, but a 1st down picked up by E.G. Green. Mike Peterson ends up making the play. The Gators had a chance to corner it, but E.G. Green had the speed to get to the outside.
Well, he caught Mike Peterson with a false step. Mike's got outside responsibility, and he's got to stay as deep and as wide as the deepest man. But he comes back, makes up for the error, makes the tackle. Here's another look. Here he starts inside. You know, you cannot catch that play from the backside, so you've got to take care of your responsibility first. And that time he took one false step, and E.G. Green was by him.
Busby throwing deep to the outside. Good coverage. Eli Williams step for step with E.G. Green. It's incomplete. That Busby's been very busy today. He's thrown it over 30 times.
You know, we earlier talked about the officiating and some of the suspect calls, but that was a very good no call by the official because both guys are jockeying for positions. They're bumping going down the field, and alertly the officials no call.
Mike Harris checks out. Johnny Rutledge back in. There's the numbers on Busby. 190 yards. But again, only around 6 yards per attempt. Gators lined up offside. I think you're going to have the Gators left defensive end called for lining up in the neutral zone. The play was a stop for no gain, but the line judge dropped it immediately. That's the judge on our side of the line of scrimmage. The side judge is to the top of the screen as you look at the play on the line, but I'm sure that'll be the call on the Gators. Tim Beauchamp in the bottom right corner.
There you see the left defensive end, Tim Beauchamp. And what happens is sometimes when you get out wide, you don't really have a man to line up on, and trying to get as much as you can of the football, you end up in the neutral zone, and that's what happened with Tim there.
And instead of 3rd and 10, it'll be 2nd and 5 for Florida State at the 18-yard line. 3rd quarter has been action-packed here at Florida Field. 5:40 to play. Florida State and the Gators have each scored since halftime. The Gators lead it by 5. Florida State backs in the eye. We haven't seen much of that. 2nd man through is Minor. He is hit, keeps his balance to the corner. Touchdown, Florida State.
And there we saw the strength of Travis Minor as he's able to break the tackle of Tico Brown and get into the end zone. Just tremendous balance. Looked like he was going down. He was able to put his hand down and catch his balance, pop back up, and an 18-yard touchdown run. Here's another look at it as he comes right up the middle. And the free safety has to make this tackle. Tico Brown is not able to come down with the tackle.
And now Florida State's turn to go for 2. With it being a 1-point Florida State lead, they'd like to be up by a field goal, so they'll go for 2. The Gators haven't had any luck going for 2. And And now the Seminoles will use a timeout to huddle together and talk about this 2-point conversion play that they want to run. We'll take timeout as well here on Sunshine Network. And part of the Gator crowd as the Gators get set to defend a 2-point conversion play for Florida State as the Seminoles try to go up by 3 in this back and forth ball game. The biggest lead either team had, Florida State, was up 11. There's Minor out in the flat, and he'll be dropped right there. Keith Kelsey put the freshman down, and Florida State's 2-point play is unsuccessful.
Well, they got what they wanted, though, Larry. They wanted to get the ball out in Travis Minor's hands one-on-one, but Keith Kelsey came in and made a sure tackle. You know, you'd like to get the ball in the hands of your best runner, because there's not very much you can do when you're first and goal, or should I say you're going for the 2-point conversion. You're on the 3-yard line. You don't have a lot of room to work, so you try to get it into the niftiest runner's hands, but Keith Kelsey would not hear it.
As we take a look from above, rather healthy leads and gave up some late scores. This is a very different set of circumstances for Florida State's defense against this Gator offense, which has used the alternate quarterback system very effectively.
And that's what you expect when you get two teams of this magnitude playing each other. It should be a very close and tight ball game. And ironically, it's a little tighter than we anticipated as far as the ability to score points.
High deep kick. Florida might try to take this one out. No, Damon Carroll fumbles it, and the Gators just barely down it short of the goal line. Running down there to kind of bust things up in a hurry for Florida State. Who goes? Brian Allen, perhaps? Yeah, Brian Allen. Gators almost muffed that one into a disaster. Instead, it'll be at the 20-yard line.
And good awareness by Eli Williams when Bo Carroll mishandled the kickoff. He was aware to get over and get on it and down the football.
Let's go down to the field and Steve Babbitt. Steve, what you got?
Thanks, Larry. You know what's been interesting? You talked about these two defenses, two of the best in the country. We haven't had a sack yet. Both defensive lines have gone at it, but the other offensive lines have done a good enough job. We haven't had a sack in this game yet. I'm amazed by that.
I think Andre Wadsworth is too. So might be Javon Curse and a few others. Florida trying to run a little misdirection. I think Florida State would go for the reverse and open up some room for Taylor, but Larry Smith and Corey Simon had better plans for FSU's defense, and it's a loss of a yard.
Well, even when you run that misdirection, what you're hoping to fool is the linebackers and the safeties to get them out of step, because the defensive linemen do not see it. The only thing that would affect them if you hear the call reverse, reverse. Other than that, the offensive line has got to try and get a hole for the guy to pop through.
Both teams have had good balance running and throwing the ball. Plenty of offense and still a long way to go. Quick pass to Quez Green, just inches shy of a first down. Just a two-step and pop it for Doug Johnson. And the Gators are faced with third and less than a yard.
Just 3 steps, let it go, a little slant route. Quez catches the ball in his hands, knows he's going to get popped. Gets down, protects the football.
Quarterback sneak. Doug Johnson gets it across the 30 and a first down. Well, the line judge is just giving him the nose across the 30, which is all you want. So Florida will move the chains and pick up a first down as we near the 4-minute mark to go in this third quarter.
And this is just a little goose play. You can come up to the line of scrimmage, you goose the center, and when the quarterback goose the center, we go.
We don't run that play up here, though.
Hey, what are you talking about? Everybody has that play in their offense.
I'm talking about our booth. From the 30-yard line.
I hope not, Larry.
They run the reverse. Quez Green's got running room. Florida State, great pursuit. It looked like Jaquez Green had all kinds of room, and Tay Cody and Samari Roll dropped it for about a 4 or 5 yard gain.
Well, Tay Cody was in man coverage, and as soon as Jaquez went in motion, you know, he's going across, so he's running with him stride for stride, trying to keep leverage. And what Jaquez does here is he tries to cut back. Samari Roll, and as well as Tay Cody, is right there to hold him to a short gain.
Mark it just across the 34-yard line. A 4-yard pickup for Quez, who has thrown a pass in this ball game. Had a very fine punt return. And as been an active receiver. Johnson fires, diving catch. Kareem at the 46-yard line, first down.
And what I like about what the receivers are doing today, Larry, they're making the sure catch. The ball's a little bit short, a little bit underthrown. They come back and they get their hands down underneath and make sure they catch. You know, there's been a lot of talk about getting hit after the ball is released, and there we've seen Greg Spires not only come in and hit him late, but actually snatch him down by the face man as he complains to the umpire. Or to the official, excuse me.
The referee does not see it or agree with Doug's complaint, and so there is no flag thrown. Brandeis checks back in, and those are the things that Doug Johnson has to learn to get over in a hurry. Brandeis hit as he throws, but it is still complete. Nafis Kareem just got his hands in ahead of Samari Roll, and it's another first down.
And that was one where Nafis Kareem got lucky. You know, he makes the break, he doesn't come back to meet the football, and Samari Roll came very close to stepping in there and intercepting the football. Good concentration as we see Brandeis getting hit, but watch this move. Now he stands still. You got to come back and meet the football.
Wow. Great look from the guys in the crew, and the eagle eye of my sidekick up here in the booth. From the 43-yard line. Gators run it. Fred Taylor bounces it to the outside. He's got about 5 or 6 before he's finally run out of bounds using the stiff arm against Shevin Smith. They'll mark him out after about a 3-yard pickup. It'll be second and about 7. 2:02 to play, third quarter.
And there we saw the strength of Fred Taylor as he's able to stiff arm Shevin Smith. Shevin Smith actually hits him right at the line of scrimmage, but with the stiff arm, he's able to ward him off and pick up 3 or 4 yards.
Let's do it, Gators. We're number 1. Yeah, you know it. You know it.
Florida will go with 3 wide receivers. On second down from the 40-yard line, Doug Johnson under pressure, throws down the sideline. Jamie Richardson bumping along with Tay Cody, but it's incomplete. Doug might have thrown that a little bit quickly.
Well, it looked like that was Travis Taylor was the intended receiver, the freshman, and what he's got to learn is to get some separation. You know, he's running stride for stride with Tay Cody, and he tries to use his arm to push him off at the last minute to get separation, but you've got to get separation a little bit sooner than that as the ball's slightly overthrown.
3rd and 7 from the 40-yard line. Taylor 19. Travis has not played a great deal in this his freshman year, but he's learned a lot. Under pressure, Brandeis gets rid of it, incomplete, and what a lick put on Noah Brandeis by Tony Bryant. Right end junior backs up Greg Spires. If you think Florida State's going to drop off when they lose Wadsworth and Spires, keep 2 names in mind. Roland Seymour and Tony Bryant. They've combined for 13 sacks, and they're both coming back.
Well, Bryant beat Zach Pillis right off the snap of the football, and Brandeis was just dead meat. Fortunate enough, he was able to get rid of the football and avoid the sack.
Florida will go for it on 4th down from the 40-yard line. They need to get just shy of the 33. Johnson with good protection in and out of the hands of Travis McGriff. Good read, good protection, perfect throw, not complete.
Well, not quite a perfect throw. The ball went through the hands of Shevin Smith because once again, Doug Johnson tried to force the ball in. You know, McGriff had a chance to catch this football, but it was after it went through the hands of Shevin Smith there, you see. You know, that's the problem that got Doug Johnson in trouble early in the year, throwing the ball down the center of the field, throwing it into coverage, not seeing the defender as he's trying to force the ball into Travis McGriff.
So Smith got a hand on it, and you saw the change in the ball, the wobble after it went past Smith, so you know he deflected it. Tougher play for McGriff. Much tougher. Busby under pressure, and there is the first sack of the night, and it goes to Johnny Rutledge, and it's good for a bunch of yards, about 15 on the sack.
Well, Johnny Rutledge gets the sack, but this is a defensive linebacker sack because they did a super job as Busby spread it out to his left of not allowing to get outside. I think it was Javon Kearse that forced him back inside as you see him coming up, and he's got nowhere to go with the football as Johnny Rutledge comes in and pulls him down.
Busby started to look for a chance to throw it away, but realized he had none and just ate it. There's Rutledge. Johnny Rutledge's 4th quarterback sack of the season. They'll run the draw on 2nd down. Miner gets back about 5 or 6 of it. He's tackled by a host of Gators. Rod Grady got there first. And then they had a team meeting at the 30-yard line.
A defensive team meeting.
Yes. It'll be 3rd down and 19 for Florida State. Boy, I tell you, I like Travis Miner as a runner, as a receiver. Just a freshman, very highly recruited. Florida and Florida State were right there in the final decision along with Notre Dame. Florida State got his services. I mentioned earlier, the same high school that produced Warwick Dunn, wearing Warwick's number 28. Florida State on 3rd and 19. Quick throw to E.G. Green and looking about 6 yards. Mike Peterson there defensively along with Mike Harris. So the Gator defense put in a mildly difficult position with the ball at the 40-yard line. Goes 3 and out, and that completed pass is the final play of the 3rd quarter in this annual showdown between the Gators and the Seminoles. Back with what promises to be an incredibly exciting 4th quarter action after this timeout on.
Back up to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Steve and James. Cottrell back to punt. Florida with 10 guys on the line of scrimmage. Gators have not come close to a punt in a long time. Jaquez Green fields it at the 23. He's got some running room. Can't get to the corner, cuts back to the middle of the field and gets it up to about the 34, 35-yard line. 40-yard kick, 13-yard return. Jamal Reynolds, a freshman defensive end out of Aiken, South Carolina, makes the play for Florida State. There you get a look at the numbers. The defense has played a good role in the 3rd quarter, but again, the Florida Gators 241, Florida State 196.
Well, Larry, this is where you find out the character of your football team. 4th quarter, tight ball game, all the marbles on the table. You get a chance to find out what's the character of your football team.
From the 34, the Gators run a draw play. Fred Taylor breaks it outside. He's got a 1st down. He's got more to the middle of the field into Florida State territory at the 43-yard line.
Excellent job of outrunning the pursuit as he started up the middle, saw that there was nothing there, jumped outside, and then scattered up the sideline. This play is designed to go up the middle of the field. He sees there's nothing there, and he just outruns the Seminole defense, and it takes Lamar Green coming all the way from the other side as he cuts back to bring him down.
Big running play for the Gators. And they do it with Scott Bryan at right tackle, Zach Zadalis at right guard, Corey Yarbrough, Pat Browning, and Cooper Carlisle, the 2nd offensive line. Damon Bo Carroll tried to find some running room. And he gets roughed up long after the whistle. It'll be a gain of just a couple of yards. Florida partisans looking for a flag.
Well, we've had a couple plays where you would think that the Seminoles got a little rough after the whistle with no flag, so you can understand the Gator fans being a little upset. But Bo Carroll, for as small as he is extremely strong. As you see, Cowher cannot get him down, and eventually, even with Darrell Bush coming in, they're still not able to get this little 165-pound scat back down.
And that was Bush, the extra guy in after the whistle. Johnson under pressure, throws in the middle, and it's incomplete. He got it around the ankles of Bo Carroll and averted a 17-yard sack. Sam Cowher, Julian Pittman putting on the pressure.
Well, they were trying to run a little middle screen to Bo Carroll, but what happened is Cowher comes free without anybody getting any blocking on him, and he does a good job, and he throws the ball not to complete it, but at the feet of Bo Carroll so that he could get rid of the football and avoid the sack.
3rd down for Florida at the 41-yard line. Of course, they were at the 40 last time when they went for it on 4th down. Noah Brindise into the ball game, 2 on the play clock. The Gators false start, or does it delay a game? It'll probably delay a game before the false start. Either way, it's 5 yards against Florida. The Gators take exception to Florida State jumping across again after the whistle.
Well, Larry, one thing you'll find out in these types of ball games when you're talking state rivals.
On the offense, 5 yards, third down.
As I started to say, one of the things that you'll find in ball games when you've got two state rivalries like this, there's no such thing as intimidation. And what the Seminoles are trying to do is intimidate this offensive line, and this Gator offensive line is not hearing it, so they're pushing back.
Doug Johnson checks back in. Johnson, his best playing time, his best performance since back in the Arkansas game. 13:33 to play. Johnson looks over to the sideline a little confused. 6 on the play clock. And now the Gators will use a timeout. So they take a delay of game and then a timeout. And we'll call timeout as well here at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Florida Field. 13:33 to play. The Gators, one of two times in the last 3 years, the Gators and Seminoles have met in a bowl game. They will not meet in a bowl game this year. But this is better than most of the bowl games will ever hope to be at the end of this college football season.
But, you know, that shows you the character and the talent of these two football teams, that within 4 years, these teams have met 6 times.
Steve Spurrier 3-5-1 against Florida State. This is the 10th matchup he's had with Bobby Bowden. Doug Johnson on 3rd down and about 13. Steps up in the pocket. Throws deep for Jaquez Green in the end zone. Incomplete. Samari Roll along with Dexter Jackson on the coverage. The Gators went for all of it and couldn't quite connect.
Well, that was one where you've got to give Dexter Jackson credit. You know, he got in between the receiver and the quarterback, and he goes up and is able to get his hands on the football as Jaquez Green had a step on him. The ball was slightly underthrown, and that's Samari Roll, that goes up, comes close to the pick. Would have been his 8th pick of the year if he was able to pull it off.
Instead, Florida will punt this time from the 46-yard line. Stevenson will try to pin Florida State in deep, and he kicks a beauty. That will sail into the end zone. Robbie Stevenson, that's when he gets his best kicks. It's been an unfortunate year for Robbie in that regard, a 46-yarder, but whenever he has tried to pin him deep, it seems like that's the time he hits it just right. For Stetson, Friday night, the game you saw right here on Sunshine Network. And you'll see the Coastal Carolina game as well. If you can't make it to the stadium or the O'Connell Center, we certainly hope you will tune in for that action. Now, Nat, we look at this Florida defense. They've really played well except for one drive this second half. Can they get a takeaway? Can they get the Gator offense in great field position?
Well, they've had their opportunities. They just weren't able to come down with it. They had one takeover to date, but you know, they've had their opportunities, and they just got to continue to apply pressure.
Busby sacked by Ed Chester. He got underneath the offensive lineman and just drove him back into Busby.
Well, that's just sheer strength. As you see, Ed Chester, as you look at the replay, will get underneath the blocker, and it's like he's on a skateboard as he just drives him back into Thad Busby. And Thad just said, hey, don't hurt me, I'm down.
Willie Cohen's made sure of it, and the Florida State partisans grumbled a little bit, as the Gators did a while ago, about that last guy getting in there, but consistency from the officiating crew, no flag in either case. Inside handoff, nothing there. The Florida defense drives it back. Javon Kearse leads the way. Mike Peterson, Mike Moten also in on the tackle, and Florida State's gone backwards 2 straight plays.
And that's called great coaching by Bobby Stoops. They make the correction. Now watch Willie Rogers squeeze this play down so Javon Kearse is able to make the play on Travis Minor with nowhere for him to run the football.
Stoops has to be happy with that effort. Now it's 3rd and very long. Chester has limped out. He's testing that knee again, which has slipped in and out on him all season long. The Gator defense looks to pin their ears back. Kearse at left end, Willie Rogers at right end. They'll throw a little screen. Warwick cuts it back into traffic, and he'll be dropped around the 17-yard line. McGrew, Harris, Moten all get in there defensively, and the defense gets a 3-and-out deep in Florida State territory.
Yeah, a little flanker screen where they just want to get the ball in Peter Warwick's hands because he's a great runner with the football. But, you know, when he's been able to break these plays before, he wasn't going up against this Florida defense who have some super tacklers coming in there.
Wes Green back at his own 45. The Gators again with a 10-man line. No pressure on Cottrell. Good kick. Green at the 41. Makes a man miss. Got a little block there. Demetrius Lewis made the block. It was Demetrius. And Florida is inside Florida State territory at the 48-yard for his 281st career coaching victory.
Well, looking back to 1997 and seeing the Sugar Bowl with the matchup they had with Florida and Florida State, you better believe the Orange Bowl people are here and they're still biting their tongue. The fact that they weren't able to get such a significant game as the Gators and the Seminoles, and they're here watching the Seminoles today, as I saw Keith Tribble earlier today, Larry.
Johnson fakes with a little pump and go. Nafis Kareem has to wait on it. Makes the catch at the 15-yard line.
Well, Nafis Kareem is a young man that Coach Dwayne Dixon has so much confidence in him. He says that this guy possesses unbelievable talent, and he's been waiting for him to step up big. And this time, he's wide open. Ball slightly on the throw. And just as Dexter Jackson comes back, he jumps up, takes it away from him, makes the catch. Junior out of Marietta, Georgia.
Nafis Kareem, third catch of the ball game.
Look at this concentration as he goes up and just takes the ball away from Jackson.
Fred Taylor breaks a couple of tackles and gets a yard out of nothing. As he moves inside the 15, Sam Coward ends up finishing him off. Think of that recruiting class. At wide receiver, Lito Anthony, Ike Hilliard, Jacquez Green, Nafis Kareem, Jamie Richardson, and Travis McGriff all signed on the same day.
I tell you, there's a lot of colleges around kicking themselves because if we could have just got one.
Yeah.
Just one.
Quick pitch to the outside. Taylor cuts it back in. He's got a couple down close to the 11-yard line. And it'll be a third down for Florida. They'll need between 5 and 6 for a first down, between 11 and 12 for a touchdown. 9:45 to play. And as luck would have it, the Gators are heading right into the Florida State band, which is right on this goal line, but they cannot play during the play. 3 wide receivers for Doug Johnson. No running back as Taylor splits out to the left. Green in motion, gets the ball. Quez does a reverse to Travis McGriff. Travis throws it up for grabs and it's incomplete. Oh, mercy. Oh, mercy. Was that almost a disaster? But the Gators will get to try for a field goal.
Well, you come back with a little trickery and it worked early in the ball game. You save it for the right spot. But this time, the Seminoles were not fooled. And this was a ill-advised pass by Travis McGriff. If Doug Johnson is not open, you cannot throw the football. Not like that. You've got 2 guys back there, and one of them being Samari Rolle, which is their best defensive back.
Collins Cooper to give the Florida Gators the lead here in the 4th quarter from 28 yards out. And he hooked it. No good. He missed an extra point early. And now he misses the field goal, and the Florida Gators fail to score inside the FSU 15-yard line and still trail by a point with 9:09 to play.
And the thing you worry about here is the fact of the Gators losing the momentum. There we see a disgusted Coach Steve Spurrier as he talks to Collins Cooper a little bit there, but you know, eventually what you've got to do is pat him on the back.
Snap, but it was there in plenty of time.
It was plenty of time, but he just flat hooked it. And what happens is, out of the corner of your eye, you see the guy coming up the middle, and you try to avoid him. And I think that might have caused the poor hook.
The place-kicking game, the difference between these teams right now. Florida State tries the middle, nothing there. The Gator defense is really stiffened. Johnny Rutledge leads the assault for Florida's defensive troops. What a day at the office it's been for Travis Minor. 18 carries, closing in on 100 yards. Fred Taylor well over 100 yards for the Gators. Florida State will let the clock run probably as much as humanly possible now. They want to see if they can eat up some clock and make it as difficult as possible for Florida. The Gators started their last drive in FSU territory. Busby fakes, fires out in the flat. Peter Warwick, and he tackles himself at the 30. Very close to the first down, and based on the spot, he will have it. Just the nose of the ball on the 30-yard line. Now this is silly. You can't, there's no reason to measure because you spot the sticks and the referee overrules. The line judge signaled in for a measurement and the referee says, hold on, if it touches the line, it's a first down. If it doesn't, it isn't.
Well, that's why he is the referee.
Boss.
You have to look at Florida State and what they're doing and the respect that they have for this Gator defense, because even when they throw the football, they're either sprinting the quarterback out or they're doing it off play actions, not just the straight drop back pass that you would normally see Florida State run.
From the 30, Busby gets a good block from his running back and completes the pass to Pearsall for about 7 or 8 yards, but the key was the block by Travis Minor. Florida had a man coming clean right up the middle, and the freshman put a hat on him.
And that's why you see that Travis Minor was so highly recruited, as he's able to get the block. And I think that was number 58, Johnny Rutledge, with a good block. Excuse me, Dwayne Thomas coming up the middle. What a good block by this young man, and he's a complete ball player. Catches, blocks, and he runs.
Run with the fullback, Khalid Abdullah. He doesn't get far. Thomas and Curse wrap him up, but he may have gotten the first down. He only needed about 1.5 yards, and he got that just across the 40-yard line. So back-to-back first downs for this Florida State offense, and they're taking some time off the clock. And that man wants the ball back with a chance to try to win it with his offense.
Well, that's the big part about when you get down there, you got to be able to capitalize. You either got to punch the football in or you got to be able to convert on special teams. And now that field goal miss is really looming large.
Busby with time throws deep down the right sideline, just a little strong. Peter Warwick had gotten behind Fred Weary, but Freddie got a break as Busby overshot it.
Well, not only did he have a step on Fred Weary, but looked like Fred was not able to close the gap as the ball was in the air. So the Gators are very fortunate here that the ball is overthrown, because if anything, he's extending that separation.
So now it's second down at the 40. 6:29 to play. Jermaine Stringer into the ball game, splits out to the right. Busby runs the draw play. Up the middle, gets about 5. Chico Brown, Tony George. Half the Florida defense needed to wrap up Minor. And that should put Travis Minor right at the century mark for this afternoon.
Just a little draw action with the lead block. And he just does a super job of hopping through the hole before Mike Harris is able to stop him for a short game.
A big third down play here. Might make the difference in whether the Gators get 1 or 2 more possessions in the ball game. Busby throws down the middle too high for Pearsall, and it's 4th down. Harris and George sandwich the Florida State tight end, but they will punt it away. And the Gators will get the ball, and with 5:41 on the clock, they may get 2 chances, each team with 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, what they've got to do is be alert. You know, Bobby Bowden has so many tricks in his bag. You've got to first make sure they kick the football. As you see the replay of Busby trying to go down the middle to Pearsall, with Mike Harris coming in to make sure that he doesn't catch it.
Good kick. Hits at the 4-yard line and takes its time getting into the end zone, but it finally does. And Florida will start 80 yards from the end zone, and About 60 from field goal range back at their own 20-yard line with 5 minutes and 32 seconds to play in this ball game.
Well, Larry, this game has been pretty evenly matched. Games where the Gators have not.
Florida State has kicked a couple of field goals. They've made their extra points. The Gators missed an extra point early, then had to go to 2-point conversions for a while. Taylor dropped the ball, and then he is racked up. Hit hard by the Seminole defense. Andre Wadsworth in on the coverage, but an incomplete pass. If he caught it, it would have been a loss of about 5. Well, Wadsworth shaken up.
Well, the Seminoles were in good position. As we look at Wadsworth down there, he's on the rush. But just as the ball is received, he's the guy that comes in and hits Taylor. And I think it was inadvertently as he was falling down. And because of that, he's down.
Got it with the left shoulder, so that's what they may be checking on Wadsworth. And while they do that, we have a chance to check in with Steve Babick.
Larry, you talk about the special teams play, and the thing about Collins Cooper, though, he's got to wipe everything away because he's...
If it's a pinched nerve, it'll bother him throughout the remainder of the season.
Florida facing 2nd down and 10 as Wadsworth heads off the field. Of course, Florida State's not gotten to the Gator quarterbacks today. The offensive line has played marvelously, and the Gators have gotten the ball out of there quickly. A lot of time to frustrate the run and rush, and I guess the running attack is probably as big a factor as anything.
Well, anytime you make the defensive line play the run first, pass second, you've got a better chance of completing the football and not getting sacked.
Snap right over the head of Doug Johnson, rolling to the right, fires incomplete. And it'll be 3rd down. The Florida State fans want a grounding, but Fred Taylor was in that mass of humanity. And the referee quickly pointed to Taylor and said there was a guy there. I know he didn't want to complete the pass, but he made it look good.
Well, so much today I've harped on Doug Johnson and the decisions that he made. And here you see a great decision on his part. He knows that he's got a middle screen set up. He just throws it at the dirt, allowing himself to get rid of the football and avoid the safety.
Gator center Wiley Rich. Talk about a guy who's got to shake it off because he's got to snap another one right away. It's 3rd down. Johnson stays in, steps up. Flag on the play. Richardson drops the pass. Referee threw it in the offensive backfield. It's a personal foul face mask on the Gator offensive line. And if Florida State takes it, Florida will have 3rd down back around the 5-yard line. If they decline it, the Gators will punt.
Personal foul. Freshman face mask on the offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
We take a good look at it. I think they get Mo Collins as he's extended, but he does take the hand down. But a little too late because the referee had already saw it.
And he was calling it a 15-yarder, not an inadvertent one. So at any rate, Florida State declines. The Gators will punt, and the defense will have to get the ball back. Stevenson had to jump up to get it. There's a punt. Driving kick around the 40, fielded. Warwick looks for running room. He's got some. Peter Warwick in the open field. The Gators chase him to the sideline. Now he comes back the other way. There's a clip. No flag. Warwick gets it to the 42-yard line. The Gator bench is going bonkers. Ends up being an 18-yard return. He ran about 90 yards with the football.
Well, there should have been a clip call, but you have to admit, Peter Warwick is a very exciting young man as he reverses his field. And here's a good look at the clip. And the rule is you've got to get your head in front on the numbers. And that time, Dexter Jackson clearly hit the Gator defender in the back.
Oh, that's one that Florida would love to have. That's the difference in the ball being around the 30 and being at the Gator 42. Pitch to the outside, running room. Here's Minor. Minor inside the 30. Travis Minor run out of bounds at the 7-yard line.
Well, this guy just continues to impress you every time he puts his hands on the football. This is just a little quick toss, starts upfield, and then watch the acceleration. It doesn't look like he's that fast, similar to Warwick Dunn, but he just runs off and leaves defenders as he's able to take the ball down to the 6-yard line of the Gators before Mike Harris pushes him out.
41 yards on the carry. There you see the numbers. Minor now up there in Fred Taylor territory for rushing yardage in this ball game. First and goal, Florida State. The Gators will desperately try to keep him out of the end zone. Fullback Abdullah, he's got it to the 4. If Florida State scores a touchdown and kicks the conversion, the Gators will need 8, a touchdown and 2-pointer to tie and send it into overtime.
Well, what the Gators need to do here, or want to do here, Larry, is very simple. Stop this Seminole football team, force them to sell for a field goal, because that puts them in position where offensively, if they can go down and score a touchdown, they can still walk away with the victory.
You see both teams have rushed the ball far better than their opponents are used to seeing it happen. Minor gets the toss running right side. Grady can't get him, and he fights his way down to the 2-yard line. Rod Grady had him about the 6 or 7, ran right through the freshman and got down inside the 2. It's 3rd and goal.
It's just determination by Travis Minor as he runs through tackles. You've got 3 Gators with opportunities at him, and no one's able to get a good clean shot and bring him down.
Williams checks out. Javon Kearse checks in. Florida State's going to go with 3 tight ends. On 3rd and goal. Travis Minor, no chance. No chance at all. Johnny Rutledge got there first. He had plenty of help. It's 4th down, and does Florida State go for it, or do they kick it and force the Gators to get in the end zone? It looks like they'll kick it.
Well, the Gator defense have done what they would like to do. That's hold them to a field goal effort. As you see, Javon Kearse, Johnny Rutledge is the first guy through, but this entire Gator defense flowing to the left, coming up with the play.
Of course, Florida will try to block this thing. Although Javon Kearse came out, he's usually the guy. Now time is called. Did someone at Florida State call timeout? The play clock did not run out. Florida State calls time. 2:41 to play in the ball game. The Seminoles trying to add to a 1-point lead. It's basically an extra point from the right hash mark for Janikowski. And it's good. Janikowski taunts the stands with a little Gator chomp afterwards. Kickers aren't allowed to do that, are they?
Well, someone forgot to tell him that it's not over till the fat lady sings, and there's still 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in this ball game while he's taunting the Gator fans.
And that might have been what Kevin Long just said to him. Say, hey, Rook. Hey, Rook.
Continue to mix it up, because every time you get a first down, the clock stops to move the chains, so there's no rush. 2 minutes and 38 seconds with 2 timeouts is like having 5 minutes left in the ball game.
It really is. Florida State 10-0. With a win, they go to the Orange Bowl to face Nebraska if Nebraska wins out. If not, they might see Peyton Manning down there if Nebraska were to stumble.
Well, being a member of the Orange Bowl committee myself, of course I'd like to see the Gators win. I'm a diehard Gator, but the Orange Bowl committee is here looking at the Seminoles with the expectation of the Seminoles versus Nebraska, but ironically, we would take anybody we get.
There's a touchback as again, Bo Carroll cannot return it, and so the Florida Gators look down on the field after Florida State went 39 yards. They had that big run by Travis Minor, but then the defense stiffened, forced another field goal attempt. They've done that today regularly, and now the offense has 80 yards to glory.
But that's been the MO of this defense all year long. They might give up a big play, but if you don't get it in the end zone in a hurry, somehow or another they're able to bend their backs and stop you and force you to settle for the field goal try.
Doug Johnson in for the first snap. Hollers something out to his receivers to the right. Johnson throws deep for Jaquez Green. He's got it. Quez Green in the open field. One man to beat. Jaquez Green inside the 20-yard line to the 17 of Florida State. Doug Johnson connects with Quez for 63 yards.
Well, we started the telecast talking about that man, number 5, junior out of Peach County High School in Georgia, being the marquee guy, the guy that makes plays. And here you see Doug Johnson with a little stutter and go, goes to his favorite receiver, and he just airs it out. Jaquez runs under it, and then watch the run after the catch. And it really doesn't look like he's running that fast, but he is flat moving. Tremendous play by Jaquez Green.
They'll mark it at the 18, officially 62 yards. 2 minutes to play in the ball game. Johnson stays in. Taylor on the draw. Taylor inside the 15. Fred Taylor stays in bounds. Where is it? Out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Shevin Smith drove him out, but Fred Taylor gives the Gators first and goal.
And let's give Nafis Kareem credit for not throwing the block. He had a chance to throw a block for Fred Taylor there on the sideline as Fred Taylor steps out of a tackler. And he sees that it's going to be an illegal block, and he stays away and allows Fred Taylor to run it down to the 2-yard line on his own. Good heads-up play by Nafis Kareem.
Taylor with 3 touchdowns today. The Gators need to get in the end zone to take the lead. Doug Johnson waves at the crowd to cool it a little bit. Taylor up the middle, touchdown!
And that's the bread and butter play for the Gators. Once you get down inside the money territory, give it to that man, Fred Taylor, as he goes over the left tackle and left guard for the touchdown. Good strong running by Fred Taylor, running up the back of Ryan Kalig, Wiley Rich, and Zach Pillars.
Now for a 3-point lead, so that Florida State can only tie with a field goal, and it is good. Collins Cooper makes that kick for the Gators. Florida now with over 500 yards total offense against a Florida State defense ranked 3rd in the nation that over the course of the season has held their opponents to an average of 175.
And that just goes to show you what we've been echoing all year long. When these two teams meet, you can throw the records out because they're playing for pride as you see the Gators come back with a 80-yard drive to take the lead after everybody would have counted them out, showing the character of this Steve Spurrier coach football team.
How about that offensive line today? They have been fabulous.
They have done a tremendous job, not allowed a sack. And Doug Johnson, with all the pressure he's been under, not losing his job, standing up when they really need him and making the play. Just a perfect throw to Jaquez Green on that bomb.
Doug Johnson, Steve Spurrier kept trying to bring him back. He played against Georgia, had 2 touchdowns dropped, made some mistakes. He came back against South Carolina and nothing at all worked for Doug Johnson. But this week, alternating quarterbacks, Doug Johnson has shown the brilliance he showed the first 5 weeks of the season against the finest defense he's seen all year.
And he really has really shown why Steve has so much confidence in him and why Steve wanted so badly for him to get out of that slump, because he knows that this young man has the ability to lead this Gator team in the future.
Now let's remind everybody, $1:50, 1 minute, 50 seconds, and 2 timeouts. That is a ton of time for Florida State. And with Janikowski, once you cross midfield, you've got a chance to try the field goal. Stevenson kicks it high. It comes down to Lavernius Coles at the goal line. Coles into the middle of the pile and is driven down at the 16 or 17-yard line. Great coverage by the Gators. Let's go down to the field to Steve Babick.
You know, I'm not sure how the next minute and 46 seconds are going to go, but going to share the time. Doug Johnson made a great throw to Jaquez Green. Think about what Doug's gone through. This could be one of his greatest hours, but a minute 46 to go.
And only one timeout. Let me correct myself. Florida State used one down near the goal line on their last drive that led to a field goal. So they have one timeout remaining. And the clock stops on a first down. Busby under pressure, gets away from it. On the run, Busby will pick up about nothing. He'll lose a yard back to the 16. That'll officially be a sack for Tony George because it's a loss on a pass play. So George makes the play. Eli Williams came with the pressure on the corner blitz. And Florida State is going to use up quite a bit of its time on that very first play. Gator defensive line's not ready. But Busby takes his time. Over the middle, incomplete. 1:10 to play, and Florida State has 3rd and 11 at the 16-yard line.
And that time the Gators came with a little different picture. This time they come with a little zone, and they're sitting back reacting up. And Mike Harris has a beeline for E.G. Green.
The Gators will not repeat as SEC champs. I'm not sure if that sting will be noticeable if they hold on in this last minute 10. Busby fires. It's intercepted. Dwayne Thomas makes the play at the 38-yard line, and the Florida Gators are 3 snaps away from upsetting the top-ranked Seminoles.
Well, it's always been said. Listen to the crowd. They tell you the story, as it's always been said, that when you come into the swamp, you got to be ready to play. As Dwayne Thomas earlier in the ball game had a chance to make a big play. This time, he steps up, steps in front of the would-be receiver, makes the interception, giving the Gators the football, and a chance to run out the clock.
All they've got to do is take a knee. Florida State can only call one timeout. There's a little pushing and shoving, really unnecessary. Larry Smith, you don't want to taint a great game with some fisticuffs this late.
And look at Dwayne Thomas at the top of your picture. He's going back to his zone position, and he reads the quarterback eyes, breaks on the football, and then does the smart thing. Gets down.
Florida State has used its final timeout. Noah Brindise goes back on the field. Doug Johnson will be warmly greeted on the sideline today as he returns. It was that pass to Quez Green for 62 yards that put it inside the Florida State 20. The clock at 47 seconds. The officials will not put the ball in play just yet. The Gator head coach talking with Noah Brindise at the 45-yard line, just wants to calm everybody down. And the amazing thing, that is, if you are the Orange Bowl, now what are your thoughts? 10-1 North Carolina, 10-1 Penn State, 10-1 Tennessee, 10-1 Florida State.
Well, all I could say is that we've got our work cut out for us. We're going to have to go back and look at the polls and see exactly how they're ranked. Of course, this takes away the shoe-in of having Florida State there, but by the same token, it doesn't totally knock them out of the picture.
We've got several teams that have great credentials. Brindise takes the knee. And by the time they put the ball in play, it'll probably require one more snap. If they get it in play before the 25-second mark, as it appears that they will. There's Mr. Tubitz. He's got to be celebrating. Everybody in orange and blue is celebrating right now. Quez Green ran on the field, or rather Ian Skinner on the field. The clock winds down. Noah Brindise takes a knee, and he takes the football with him. The Florida Gators are going to celebrate a tremendous victory over the Seminoles of Florida State. They wanted to come in here having lost their SEC championship and deny Florida State a national title. They played a team that was number 3 in the nation in total defense and the top 5 in total offense. alternated quarterbacks all day long, Nat, and this is a game that Gator fans will talk about for a long, long time.
Well, it's all about making plays. Offensively, the Gators made plays. Defensively, when it counted, they stood up and they made plays. You know, for a guy like Dwayne Thomas to be a senior playing his last ball game here at Florida Field, to come up with that interception, that's going to be something he'll remember the rest of his life, Larry.
That's what clinched it. Number 52, a fifth-year senior from Jacksonville. Let's go down to Steve Babick with one of the heroes.
Thanks, guys. You know what, Doug, congratulations. Talk about the game plan of the alternating quarterbacks.
I think the whole game plan was to go in there and have a good picture with the rotation of the quarterback. I don't know what to say. Everybody played well. The O-line blocked better than they've blocked the whole year. I mean, they had the best defensive line in the country, so they say. We held them out. I don't think we gave up a sack. The O-line played great. Fred Taylor played great. Our receivers came in the ballpark ready to play. And the QB stepped it up. It was a whole team victory. And,
all right. Okay, now Coach Spurrier. Coach. All right, good Coach Spurrier. Coach, the two-quarterback system. Talk about that.
Well, we just said, hey, let's play both of them. We had Jesse ready to play a little bit, but he really hadn't played all much this year. But Doug and Noah were super. Fred Taylor, Quezzy Green, the whole team. One of the most dramatic games I've ever been part of.
Kids played with a lot of heart, didn't they? Played with a lot of heart today.
Oh, nothing went great at times. We missed about every kick, but somehow or another, God's still smiling on the Gators.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. Tremendous down here. Great emotions. Let's go back up to Larry and Nat.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve Babick, and you can tell the emotion in Doug Johnson. It was elation and it was relief, and he couldn't wait to share the credit with his offensive line, his runners, his receivers, and the defense. And Dwayne Thomas, a fifth-year senior, a guy you talk about as a solid player who does not make big plays. Guess what? He made the biggest play of the 1997 Gator football season. The players celebrating with the fans. The University of Florida insistent that there will be no storming of the field and no taking down of the goalposts. But what a moment for the Florida football team as they get the victory over Florida State by a score of 32-29. We'll return to the Swamp in just a minute.
Florida Gator football on Sunshine Network is brought to you by First Union. When it comes to service, everything matters. Great Southern Wood, makers of Osmos pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't say Osmos on the yellow tag, you don't want it. Dairy Farmers, got milk? By the new Dodge, from cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. And by Shands Healthcare, improving health one person at a time.
Stampede tomorrow night, 2 a.m.
Now you can build your own library of official Gator video highlights. Start with number one for all, including Sugar Bowl and Celebration highlights, and the Salute to Danny Werfel. Add Gators of the 90s, hosted by Steve Spurrier, or season highlight tapes from 1985 through the present. You can even watch the Gators on CD-ROM, or listen to the One to Remember, featuring yours truly, Mick Hubert. Choose any 4 items for only $69.95. Call 1-800-538-2666.
What should you see when you're looking at the target? Do you pull with the left or push with the right? What's a good bunker shot sound like? The answers are in Golf Digest. No matter how well you play, you'll find tips and advice that will dramatically improve your game. Guaranteed. Want to know if you're good enough to carry a 4-iron? And what's so bad about a flying elbow? Do you want to know what the right grip feels like? Then you must subscribe to Golf Digest. Like to know which new ball can really take strokes off your game? Or where the most affordable new courses are? It's all in Golf Digest, the world's most widely read golf publication. You'll get 12 issues of Golf Digest for only $19.77, plus a full money-back guarantee if it doesn't improve your game. Subscribe now and get our valuable video. Hit it longer and straighter, absolutely free.
Call 800-652-2112. That's 800-652-2112.
They're singing "We Are the Boys" as well they should. The Florida Gators winners over Florida State 32-29. This season has become a remarkable saga in the life of Noah Brandeis. He's down on the field with Steve Babbitt.
Tremendous effort by the quarterbacks. We talked to Doug Johnson. We talked to Coach Steve Spurrier. Now Noah Brandeis. Noah, how the heck did that work out there? That's two quarterbacks.
Well, it was good because we had a plan every time we ran out on the field. Coach was able to tell us, a particular thing. If they were blitzing, do this. If they weren't, do this. So it was better than, being on the field the whole time because we aren't usually able to hear what Coach was saying.
You think about this season, the way it's gone, it's almost like Doug Johnson, Noah Brandeis, let's put them together at one big game.
Yeah, Doug played I'm so happy for Doug. He played great. He's gotten such bad publicity lately. And Doug came out and showed tonight why he is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country next year. I'm so proud of our whole team, and it's just the best feeling right now. I'm going to go say hi to my dad.
What a senior day gift, huh?
Oh, this is the best way to end it. I couldn't have scripted anybody.
Hey, it's only appropriate that he goes to talk to his father. A year ago, non-scholarship player, now the play of a lifetime. Let's go back upstairs.
Okay, thanks a lot, Steve and Nat Moore. For this team, the frustration, the disappointment of not defending their SEC championship means nothing at the moment.
Yeah, but it couldn't be any sweeter than to beat your arch rival, the Florida State Seminoles, the way they have done here today, and once again be able to brag and say, we took the national championship away from the Florida State Seminoles.
And it appears that's exactly what happened, although we must remind everybody the loser of last year's Florida State regular season finale won the national championship. We'll see how it all plays out as things go along. That's going to do it for us here at Sunshine Network.